make the ground shake.
Hello, motherfucker.
What's poppin'? Don't mind me, just watching.
Hello. Hello, hi. Playing CSGO. CS, get out of here. Shit. Hello, Potatoes here. Dan is here. Joggin is here. We had a hell of a remix. I goddamn almost pooped my pants. I was in the kitchen trying to make myself a drink. And then suddenly noise. It was a good remix though. We're gonna try this stream thing again. Yeah, earlier today didn't work so well, so we're giving this another go. Yeah. Hello, peepos. Let's do the thing. Mulligan? What's that? I tried to do high pony, but my pony said no. My pony said no. My character's got a high pony. Pony chopper. That light is bright as hell. I hope everyone had a good day. I hope y'all had a good day. I had an okay day. Started out really badly. But it's okay. You speedrunning the Genshin event? Oh shit. Potato! It's skip meta. Whoa, where's my frames? I dropped my frames somewhere, guys. Also, I haven't put the foam condom back on yet. Because I keep forgetting to do it. Is it because of the game? Oh, I think it's because of the game. Cloud burp duty? What does that mean? Finishing the last part of the event and it's taking an age. Oh god. Jogging, you can join when you're ready though. I am just sitting in the stream chat. So whenevs. Alrighties. Y'all know the drill. If any of the sounds are wonky donkeys, just let me know. Have I played this on stream? Where's my frames though? Dropping it like it's hot. Why is everything on high? Bro. Medium? Instantly back to 30. Okay, I think we're good. Still looks a little jumpy. I hope it's okay for you. But you know what? There's a little bit of motion blur. Is that an option I can turn off? Because I can't stand it. They don't need to know what I'm doing. Oh, please skip. Skip intro. I know I'm playing with other things now, but I think this is good shit. very shortly. No worries, no worries. Me, I'm chillin'. Where turn off motion blur? I can't stand it. It's really, really terrible. Screen shake? Don't do that. What is this game? It's called V Rising. It's like, I want to say Valheim, but vampires. Oh, I have a servant now. His name is Andrew. If Andrew dies, his successor will be Bandrew, and then next it will be Candrew, and then Dandrew. And so on until we run out of letters, and then we will have to pick a new name. Jargon is also sleeping in the workshop, so that's cool. Cloud Burb used to be... You have a bird? Oh, and this is Jargon's servant. His name's Jeremy Baramy. He's a little bit shy. Jargon looks real comfy. You don't have a coffin? I can't build it for you. You know that, right? I can't build it for you. I don't even know what it requires. We had the materials at some point. We probably still do somewhere. I have on me, apparently. Oh, I have stuff on me. Shit. Oh, wait. The game crashed, right? Oh, so we still have the stuff? Wait, but this was far back. Oh, no. Does this mean it didn't save when we killed that other girlie? The floor is nice. Good for your back. Please tell me we killed her. Where is she? Oh, wait, there she is. Oh, thank God. So we killed this girlie. Almost had like a moment of like panic. Like, because she's like well over level for us. But the thing is, we accidentally ran into her while looking for iron. And she actually was getting fucking... And maybe this is going to be mean to say. She was getting hammered by some guy. Anyway, she was getting... What's poppin'? Don't mind me, just watching. Thank you, Potato. Yeah, she was getting completely railed by some guy in a mine. Yeah. You should name a servant Toma. And he'll be the favorite. If I find a 100% anything, he can be our Toma. Are you cool with that, Dragon? Oh yeah, I don't know if I finished my sentence, but basically, yeah, she was getting absolutely smashed in a mine, and I was like, oh, let's take advantage of the situation. So I was like watching the guy attack her, and then she just died, and I was like, cool, thanks for dying. Because that makes it a lot easier for me. I don't have to then kill her later for things. She like just bumped up progression like insanely. So I was like, thanks, an avocado. This can go here, this can go here. This can go here. This is all Taylor stuff. Okay. Thank God it saved that part though. Fuck, man. I was so worried. I was like, please, give me peace. I mean, we'd probably be fine if we had to fight her in the future, you know? Like, it's not an actual issue. Where's, So he's a woodcutter, which is why I gave him the axe. Where's your boy? Where's Jeremy Baramy gone? What's cracking, homie? Where you at? You want some waffles? Oh, there he is. What's cracking? You want a weep on? There we go. 250 power. Nice. What's my boy sitting at? I think they're about the same. That's Bin B. Where he at? Here? I like literally just saw him. We only suck sometimes. Speak for yourself. Thank you very much. Why are you hiding in the corner? What the hell? Oh, he's 253. I don't know what's different though. Maybe the percent or something? But yeah. The boys are kitted out. The boys are ready for whatever it is they're going to do. I have no idea. Jenny didn't cook bacon? Oh, I thought she was making pancakes. She was making the lube pancakes. No? She didn't make anything. Oh my god. Have you guys eaten today? Just snacks? Oh, actually a snack wouldn't be bad right now. What did we actually need to do? Oh, we was doing iron. Did we bring back the iron? Is it in here? It is here. We didn't have the receipt though. Thank you for the bubbles, Ash. Yeah, I think we're good for whetstones now. Ore. We need to fight a boy. Oh man, that's so cool. Okay. Okay, no rats. No rats. We can do beer. Let's maybe do beer. And then if one of us takes beer, the other one takes Quincy. We can go beat their asses. I just don't know how we're supposed to... Bubbles give you serotonin? Oh. These bubbles in particular, or just bubbles in general? Can we... No? I'm thinking of making my Tuesday and Thursday streams like in the morning, like in the beginning of the stream I just study for like an hour or so. I just always wonder, is that really what people want to watch? I think we need to upgrade to the crude, merciless boy jargon. Just to do the ores, crude topaz, whetstones, and leather. How to... Hello, motherfucker. Who that? Momo! Hi, Momo. How you doing? Okay, and it was whetstones, which I know we have over here. What's cracking, homies? And then leather is over here. This is gonna be our tailor room. I don't know how big it needs to be, so I may section off some parts if we need another room for something else, but that's the plan, Stan. It's a potato. It's a mozine. It's a momo. Leather. The thing that I said I was going to get and then didn't. Cool, 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 cool. What's poppin'? Don't mind me, just watching. Thank you, Ash. Enjoy your lurkies. I'm doing good, Momo. How are you? I want to show you guys something, but... I think it's all been posted on Twitter now, so maybe it's safe to post it. I don't wanna be the first person to show it, because it's not mine, but it's something I'm in. You will get beer and then join? Alright. Perfect. I'm gonna go slap her some rocks. Because it is night time, so I might as well. There's some art on the tweeters. I will... Hello, motherfucker. Hi, Daddy. How you doing?
What's poppin'?
Don't mind me, just watching. Thank you, Daddy. Did I tell you the other day that my boyfriend was like, "You have a viewer named Daddy? Isn't that kind of weird?" And I'm just like, Daddy's kind of part of the furniture at this point. It's so like normalized to call you Daddy that I don't even think it's a weird thing anymore. You just hear Daddy. You're about to bed? You better have eaten today, Daddy. Otherwise, it's fighting time. I'll knock you out. Then you easy go to bed, yeah? Easy go to bed. You have eaten? Okay. That's fine then. You may bed. You have eaten, you may bed. Oh yeah! This is why I can't play scary games, guys. Yeah. Ow, you stinky bastard. No. Ah. Besides the fact that I can't hit anything. Try to start to play Genshin or F1 before heading off to bed. You've been neglecting. Have you done your dailies? Have you done your resin spend in Genshin? If yes, play F1. If no, play Genshin. Them's the rules. No, I'm joking. Play whatever you want to play. Just normal plant guard. As long as you're not one of those man-eating plants, because I hate those things. Fuck. They always give me a fright. Even if I know that they're there, if I watch Jargon run past it and then it attacks me as well, I still get a fright. I'm just like, fuck. Actually can't win. Ever. In the history of ever, I will never win. Against something that can spook me. Not a chance. No ways. I still need to figure out how to plant stuff in this game, actually. You've done nothing in Genshin? Oh, Momo. I see why it's a difficult decision to make then. Gotta get your ducks in a row. Oh, that's a target dummy. I'm so glad I was mousing over that. Do I just go in here and fucking wail on them? I think so. Ooh, I'm lagging my ass off. Oh. 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 Oh, yeah. Hehe. Oh, that is so fucking dope. Holy shit. I love that ability so much. God damn. God damn. Hot diggity damn. Ooh. Oh yeah, so some VTubers in South Africa got together and made some art. I don't know if any of you guys know Mew Mew. Mew Mew, is it Mew Mew Power? Something like that. I don't know it, to be fair. I'm just going based on the name of our Discord group call. But they made some fan art of some South African streamers. Well, the VTubers, I guess. And it looks really cool, and I'll share it with you guys on the Discord. But yeah, that's why stream started a bit late, because I'm 84% rogue. When did that happen? Yeah, we was chatting and looking at things. You can be perceived as any type of plant? Goddamn. You don't even know what the daily res... Oh, the daily and resin... Oh, okay. Well, I mean, fair enough, Mosin. Oh, Jesus! Fuck off! Well and truly, fuck off. God damn. Oh, sending me to an early grave over here. These stinky plants. God damn. No peace. Only problems. This is fine. Ryan, hello, hello. Only AR-10? Oh, I mean, that's fine, Momo. I don't want to bully you and say you need to play more, but you need to play more. I was just telling the peoples about the arts. And I wanna post it on the Discords for everyone to see. Oh, I should walking backwards. What the heck? Oh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hee hee. I got wolfies now. Come, guys. Where did they go? Oh? This one's my friend. Oh, they lost interest very quickly. Oh, there we go. Ooh. Let's go attack this bear. Or not. Is there anything else? Bear territory? What is this? Is this where the big boy is gonna be? The V-Blood bear? I wanted to get this game when it launched, but everyone I know stopped. Yeah. I didn't really see many people play it when it came out. And I was curious about it, but for whatever reason I didn't get it when it came out initially. Oh. Pocha? You can be a pupper in this game. Hi, emulator. Technically yes, but it's more like a travel form than anything else. It's giving you grief about joining. I've just given myself pins and needles in my one arm. Ow! Am I getting attacked? Oh no, it's the bear. Ah, my arm. Where's your name? Are you offline? Bossy. Bossy. Invite to watch only. How do we normally do this? Thank you for the luckies, Momo. None of the above. I shall be playing dirt. Enjoy, Momo. Enjoy, enjoy. You bought it on Steam three days ago, and you're having a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it as well. It is a great game. Oh, there's skelly bobs attacking. I'm in a spicy spot. It's telling me server not responding. Okay, let me... Is it safe to leave game? Where is home? Wait, how did I get so far from home? Let me just scoot home quick. I don't know why it's being a buttholio. But I scoot home quick. Quick fast. And hopefully I don't run into Vincent or Tristan. A true buttholio, yep. You've had it installed since release, just never played? Oh, yes, emulator. If you like, did you ever play Valheim? Have you played Valheim, Minecraft, Diablo 3D? Yeah, any of those games? I want to say, what did I call it earlier? It's Valheim, Vampire Valheim, but it's Vampire Valheim meets Diablo, like the top down and the abilities, you know. Ooh, Puggy! Oh! Pew, 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 pew. Are you Puggy? Thank you. That gave me such a fright. Thank you. 15 months of subby. Thank you. Thank you. And also, I was filling out quizzes or surveys or whatever it's called on Kosuguti. Thank you so much for follow and welcome to the posse. My brain stopped working for a second. I was filling out surveys on Weverse today because you know you get those QR cards with your albums and stuff, and I was inputting some of them because I'm a little bit behind on that. And I put Jin's one in, and hey yo, yeah, and they were like, "What is your favorite song of Jin's?" And I was like, "Super Tuna." There is no other answer. I mean, there are several answers, but you know, I don't know why. I don't know why it's being a butthole. I didn't do anything different. Anyway, it's my favorite song. As much as I love his new song, Super Tuna is always gonna be the one, you know? I love that song so much. Alright, so, I don't know if you can try now, Jargon. Bosu? Do I need to restart the actual game? I don't understand. What? It won't let me, it won't even let me, it's just like, hey, come watch me play. Like, not invite to play, invite to watch only. Oh, I turned that off because I didn't want randos joining me. Lol. Oh, whoops. Okay, so that was, no, that's the wrong one. Don't do that one. Not that one. After all those memes, I clicked on the wrong one. I love how Ami collectively have decided to love Super Tuna even though Jin himself tells us not to. How can we not though? It's such a fucking vibey song. You'll give it a shot? Oh hell yeah, Zuma electricity about to kick in. Emulator, take care, and when you do have a chance to try V-Rising, fucking enjoy it, because it's such an amazing game. I fucking love this shit, man. Bimby, hey Bimby, Bimby. Oi, Bimby. You're alive? Bimby, drop that. Drop your shit. I want to upgrade it. Your big, this thing. Mace. Thank you. Words, I'm not very good at them. Also, when you join in the Discord, sir, or you're already here, you're just gonna start speaking, I'm gonna shit myself. Because you don't make noise. Also, this thing, because it has like a bellows on it or something, would give me a fright every time because it's like heavy breathing and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Sun Sun? Okay. He's just chugging some liquid courage, I think. Just gonna go put some shit away. But how do you like the song, Puggy? I feel like it's very silly. It's very silly, but it's also super catchy. It's hard not to like it.
Hello.
Ooh. Hello. Is he working? He's working, I think.
So far.
Can everyone hear Jargon? If you can't hear Jargon, sorry for you. Sucks to be you. What a bad day to be you.
I think it's the opposite, actually. They're lucky.
Aww.
They are winning.
Aww. I disagree, but okay. Cool. Okay. Grass. And...
Hi,
Andrew! I can't wait to get my next one and call him Bandrew. Because we're gonna
get this guy killed.
ban Dan. Yeah, we gotta get ban Dan though. What? You see, the house did the thing again. I don't know if we showed on your side, but it's like, the blood is running out. I'm like, bitch, it ain't. It ain't. It especially ain't. This thing is like full. Got 5 days. Fuck off. I don't know why it's doing that, but it's okay. Alright, so both the boys are kitted out. But we can't do anything until we get iron, so... And we need to go kill. And it's almost... Oh, we're going in tonight again, so that's good.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
I also have to be up at like 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Gross.
Because I have to wake myself up and shower and get ready to go. I need to go buy buttons. That's literally buttons and stockings for Nobara.
Make a thing of it.
Yep. Because Debbie's got other shit to do, and I was like, okay, I'll wake up early. All right, I'm gonna take Baramy. You can take Quincy. Are we on the same page? The blood.
Yeah. Are we?
The blood altar.
I gotta take more shit off.
Where would the bear be? Do you know?
Where did my mace go?
Oh, I have it. Sorry. It's on the crafting bench. Go. Yeah, and then get the blood.
The blood.
Do you know where the bear would be?
No.
I want to say it's like by the bear territory, but I don't know.
Probably.
It's saying it's this way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's this way. Alright, so...
Some more shit to dump off.
Bear Cave! It's by the Bear Cave. Alright, so we're gonna
That makes
TP.
sense.
I'm gonna head out so long, because it's basically daytime. I'm gonna head... I don't know if you want to come with.
Yeah, I'm still dropping stuff off.
Just throw it all in a box. There's boys on the road. I'm just gonna hot step them. Bye, guys. Oh, there's more boys. Quincy.
Quincy? Okay.
Yeah. Because I got Baramy. I think I went the wrong way. I went a very spicy way, apparently. Don't follow me, is what I'm saying.
If you say so.
Southeast. Okay, I think that's where I was going.
Cool.
I took the long way around because I was getting attacked, so I'll just keep doing that, but you go the normal route, I think is better.
Okay. This is fine.
This is fine. This is a-okay. There was just like 4 packs on me. I was like, never mind. Never mind. I did not look before I ran, so that's on me. That's okay, though.
Yeah, that's fine. It do be like that sometimes.
It do! It do be like that.
We don't have new things, right? I think we got...
No, but I think it does that every time we load in.
These guys are all garbage.
Alright, I'm...
87% creature.
Teleporting. Oh, shit. Do you want to get something else?
No, I think it's probably fine. Gives
Yeah.
me damage reduction, which is good.
What? I just heard a weird sound. What is that? Man trap? What is it fighting? Oh, skelly bobs. Never mind.
Lots of dudes. Yeah, screw you guys.
Okay, we're going this way. We can just cut across here. Hi, guys. Bye, guys. More guys. Shit. Bye, guys. This is the most spicy. Oh, fuck. It is very handy to be a wolf. Just Newman. I just realized now I don't have the Discord reactive on. There we go. Now you guys can see when Jorgen is speaking. As if you can't tell the difference between our voices.
Yeah,
just in case. Life of a vampire is hard. It is. It is.
Difficult.
Yeah.
Teleport there. Okay.
Where you at, homie?
Let's do it.
You teleporting?
I'm coming right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, if you ever need to leave the house in a hurry, just pick a chest and throw everything in there. I do it all the time. I ain't gonna judge.
Yeah, they have a bunch of stuff that... Well, not a bunch of stuff. It was only like 3 things, but...
In Terraria, in Minecraft, in... I don't know if I ever did it in Valheim, but like those games, I always had what I called a dump chest. And it would literally be like, if I needed to leave the house quickly, for whatever reason, I would have a chest where I would just throw everything in. That was my dump chest. Just dump everything in and then sort it later. Oh yeah, actually, It is. I still had a dump chest
Is
though.
that the good button? Yeah.
Yeah.
Every chest in Terraria, if I don't play with someone, every chest is a dump chest for me.
That is
Or no,
true.
shit.
That is true. This bear was pretty easy to find.
There's a moose. Oh, why? No. Drop me out of wolf form.
Whoa, you got hit?
No. Nobody around me. I don't know what happened.
Maybe it was one of them man trap plants, little bastards.
Yeah, maybe.
Just boinked up out of nowhere. Can I go? Can I go? Can I go? Can I go?
Sure, you're fine.
What? Spicy bear! Spicy bear!
It's like a proper boss area.
Yeah. It's like a whole ass arena. What? Leg! Leg! Why he chased me? Yo! Son, please. Yo! Oh! Actual spice. What is... Uh-oh. Thank you. Ow.
Ooh, I didn't mean to put that.
Oh! The way we're just sharing the aggro here.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Just bopping around. It's okay. Ooh.
This Baramy is very mad.
Yeah, it's kind of a dick.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Them's with spicy meatballs. Whoa! Yeah, boy.
Me.
Your boy Newman. Stinky bear. You were so confused. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, right, there's a key.
It's just jargon. Do not be alarmed. Just a jargon.
Get back in the cave.
Where is he?
You were setting. Come on,
Come here, Baramy.
you dick.
What? Imagine aiming. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Skill issue. Shoot him in the butt.
Eat him. Oh, God.
Ow. It's fine, we got him. Ayo.
Yeah, you kicked my ass for a second there.
Chaos abilities are so
Easy.
cool. I really like the juice is done. I'm sad now. Oh Jesus. Womp womp. Oh, he's a good place to get bone. He's not too bad to kill.
Oh, bear.
I want to be bear also. I like the this one, the Veil of Illusion. Very cool. I am bear also now.
We are bear. Oh, we can do a tea.
A tea? Oh. Until that actually does something though. Oh my god, dancing
Yeah,
bear.
right. Spin. Spin to win.
I love that. Reminds me of the dancing bear in WoW. The mount.
Yeah. The queue looks pretty nice.
Con
I'm probably gonna
harvest.
be bear form like all the time.
Yeah? They're not that
Just
fast
donkey
though, I
all the
think.
time.
Con harvest. No harvest for
Oh,
you.
what?
Well, look, there's a cave thingy here, so let's go have a look.
Oh,
Bear-
you can use
the bear can
queue
sleep?
to destroy like the big mineral deposits.
Oh. Oh yeah? I wonder if he can do iron.
Oh, objects destroyed using this attack yield no resources.
Oh. The
Womps.
fuck? Womp womp. He do be a little bit quiet compared. Oh. Joggin. Speak up.
Oh, I'm quiet.
No, I'm joking. Don't. I'm gonna
That's fine.
I'm gonna
I can...
I'm gonna pump up your volume. Don't speak louder.
Okay. It's just I just moved my mic closer. I'm just worried about hearing me breathing, which I'm not interested in.
You don't want to hear yourself breathe?
I don't want other people to hear me breathe. I mean, if I don't hear myself.
What do you
breathe,
think they're
that's kinda
paying
cool.
sub for? Do you think they're here for
Just-
me?
just to hear
They're
me
just here to,
breathe.
they're here for your mouth breathing, dude.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. This is news to me.
Oh,
I know.
sorry. What the?
You
Where
do
the
the ASMR? I'll start doing it.
cave passage? Is this down? Breathing ASMR?
Yes, exactly. Puggy, no.
Gotta give the people what they want, man. Nyan 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 ni hao nyan. Oh, oh yeah. Nyan 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 ni hao nyan. Is that what you're into, Puggy? Anyway, so I think this is the cave entrance. So when we have ability to noom and fly, I guess we go in here.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's the
Oh yeah, it's there. I see. Okay.
yeah.
Neato.
I assume it's the same with the. Oh, there's a third cave passage. There's like 3.
Yeah, there's shit tons.
Shit,
I
the
found-
bed.
I found more like to the right below the sulfur.
Oh
quarry on
shit!
the-
We were
far
supposed to
east-
go
or
fight the
far
other
west, rather.
guy, and then I completely forgot.
Oh yeah, we're kind of running out of time.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess we can still do it in the daytime.
we can
it's
we can
not
just
like-
head towards him so long.
Yeah.
I'm gonna follow you because you know where he is.
I think
Also,
it's this way.
if you're ever close to iron, oh, just try and hit it with the merciless copper mace. I don't know if that's because it's a higher level now, so I was hoping that maybe it
Right.
would actually work.
Better resources.
Do the thing.
Probably. There's lots of peeps.
Anything good in there you want?
I don't think so. They look pretty low.
Yeah. There is no jog in ASMR. Are you
Yes,
gonna
that
do
is
ASMR for us,
Very
Joggin?
intentional.
Joggin says no.
I'll do ASMR if you do ASMR, basically.
Me?
Yeah. Like if they redeem your ASMR.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright, hello.
Whatever that means.
It's whisper only. Soft calm. But I mean, you speak so softly anyway. What is your
Yeah, I know,
ASMR
right?
even gonna sound like?
This is ASMR already. Oh, it's way the fuck this way. Which way am I going?
Redeem works for the streamer and collab, yeah? Is this a collab? Is this a Are you also streaming, Joggin?
Oh, definitely.
I should have done the guest thing, but I don't know if you have to be live for it to actually work.
Oh, right, the guest star thing? Yeah, I'm not sure how
Yeah.
that works.
Joggin knows what's up. That's how it works nowadays.
This mountain is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I
I'm
guess we can just go through this camp, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah?
These guys should be all
We should
all
be
lower levels, I
fine.
think.
If you see anything tasty, just shout. Are we fighting anything or
Yeah,
just
they're all pretty
Newman?
shitty. Nah, I think we're just running. They're all
Okay.
pretty low.
Careful, there's a spicy lady in here. Cause you look
Spicy
thirsty as
lady.
fuck. Yeah, man, the spicy lady. The one that you accidentally aggroed twice here.
Love the spicy lady.
I don't remember her name. She was kind of boring. Jargon, you better hydrate.
Can I use beer? Is that allowed?
Yes. Let's say yes.
Okay.
Now you both have... No, I don't have to hydrate. I just drank.
Wait, shit, where am I going?
Who knows? I don't know, but I'm
I'm just gonna
following
hold
you.
still for a second, because sometimes the blood gets a little confusing when you're running.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, we're
Uh-oh,
doing the right
and
way.
Daddy redeemed an ASMR as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Daddy.
Puggy says beer is not a hydrate, by the way.
Beer is definitely hydrating.
I agree.
It's the most hydrating.
It's the hydrate, not the hydrate, though.
Why else would it make you pee so much? It
Oh my
definitely very hydrating.
Oh shit, the sun.
Yeah, this is bad. Where are we even going?
I don't know, I'm following you. What do you mean, where are you going, bitch? Ow.
We're going this way. Yeah, we're going this way.
We're going this way, let's go.
Oh fuck, they caught me.
Bye, it was nice knowing you.
Alright, B.
Oh shit. Oh, 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 oh. This is not good. This is especially bad.
Are you okay?
I'm okay, are you okay?
Okay.
This ASMR does not feel family friendly. What do you mean? Bucky, what do you mean?
What does that mean, buddy?
We're just whispering. What do you want from us?
Please explain.
Use your words. Tell us. Why is this not family friendly? Because I'm swearing. Jargon also abandoned me. What an asshole.
I see. You were supposed to be following me.
Bro,
Quote unquote. I know where I was going.
I was following you and then you almost died. You want me to follow you into death?
Of course.
I didn't sign up for this, man. I just wanted a tour guide.
I think it's inside the stronghold.
Okay. There's people wailing on each other here.
Perfect.
I think we can use the bear. Oh wait, there's a 34 rogue here.
Break it with the bear.
Oh, please don't. Did you bastard? Did you kill my rogue? He did. What a colossal fuck. There's a 29% here I want to grab. It's so rude. It's the most rude, actually. Whoop. Oh yeah. Don't kill him.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Kill his friend. Here's one, motherfucker.
I got him.
Nice.
I will take no more questions at this time. Puggy, what the fuck? Too bad you don't have a redeem for Yell. So the problem with that... the problem with that... Oh! Shh. Whisper laugh. Okay, now what do we do?
I think we just go in.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. We still be in the sun. That was almost bad.
Itai. Itai.
Perfect.
This is fine.
Shall we rescue these villagers?
No, leave them.
Okay.
Stinky peasants.
Stinky peasants.
Yep. Eat. That's not shade.
Not shade enough.
No.
The stairs. Yeah, the stairs work.
Daddy wants a collab with 4 people doing ASMR. That sounds like hell, Daddy.
Yeah, it sounds
It's a really bad idea. Why did you say go for the stairs? I'm burning.
It
You
was-
bitch.
It was okay for a minute.
60 seconds left. Oh, thank God.
This is hell.
It's always so difficult. Just sitting here watching the clock. When will my torment end?
Soon, DM. There's blood. Oh, he's out. So I'm gonna follow this road.
Wait.
It's not gonna be. Oh no.
Oh. Ooh. Oh. Daddy! At such a time, sir, could you please give me peace? You want
We're supposed to
problems
play Soccer
always.
Vikings.
You joking me?
Again.
We need fucking
For the
glubs,
900th
mate.
fucking time. I know, it's fucking ridiculous. Too many.
You want to request to Drew? Okay. Don't clear that request. I will definitely. I will go and find you a Drew. You want problems always, Daddy. You was just born this way though, so like we don't
just
fault
know.
you for it. We accept
a
it.
little bit, but
A little bit? Oh, okay.
yeah, we're just like used to it.
But thank you, Daddy. that is my no fail smile song. I love it so much. It sparks joy, as it should.
Oh, I might die.
No.
It might happen.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
This is awful.
It's nighttime. Goodbye. Delete.
Oh, I wonder if there's anything in this house. We should definitely check that. Sometimes there's chests and shit.
Hey yo. I
there's
come rescue your bitch ass and you run away? The audacity. I was still fighting those homies that were attacking you and you're like, bye bitch, I'm gonna go look for loot.
You.
Unbelievable.
I don't believe you.
Huh?
Not for a millisecond.
Go watch the stream.
this?
Go
What did I
watch
just
the
get?
stream.
Reinforced bone sword.
What? Just a sec.
Wait, where's this? What? Ghost poops.
Ghost poops.
Yes, ghost poops. Of course.
Did I?
Wait, why is
Turn
there
my-
like a road, but not a road? Why is this line?
I did. There. Ghost pops
This
is their
one?
actual name, but they look more like ghost poops. I don't know what makes them ghost pops, you know?
Eating the poops.
But it's the
Where the
name.
fuck is this leading me?
Where is the
Oh,
man's?
it's leading me. Okay, I know where it is.
Yeah, yeah? Follow the
Oh
road?
god, I might die actually. Bombers are very dangerous.
I'm bringing more. Uh-oh. Yeah,
No,
no,
do
I'm not
not want.
gonna...
Do not want. No, thank you. Okay, let's reset. So that's good.
Puggy, what's your snack of choice at the moment? Are you good, homie?
Sure.
I'm
As
close
good as I'm gonna
by.
be.
Are you fighting? I don't
No, I'm
hear
safe.
like intense
I'm
clicking, so I wasn't sure.
No, yeah, no, I'm safe.
Oh Jesus, you gave me a
It's
fright.
like this one guy following me now, apparently. Not sure where he came from, but
Unfollow.
it heals me more if I heal you.
Mm. Ikimashou.
Based on my spell power, apparently.
Is the what the heal?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my god, that heals?
Yeah, if you shoot your friends.
Oh my god, I'm gonna main healer in this game now. Thank you, goodbye.
I have heals and barriers. That's my two spells.
Are they this way or?
Just full support. Yeah, we have to follow that. See, like that main road on the map.
Oh yeah.
We have to follow
see.
that around to where it ends. I'm pretty sure. I'm not honeybee on that, but I'm pretty sure.
What an asshole. Colossal asshole. I've just been shooting enemies with that thing. I honestly didn't know it would heal.
Yeah, heals you too when you shoot people with it, so
Oh,
not a bad thing.
we can check the building later. There's 2 more dingleberries on the bridge.
Eliminate the dingleberries.
Nice. Almond Pocky. Choco mint ice cream. You like choco mint?
Chest over here.
I love choco mint.
Wow, what a shitty chest.
Yeah? Did it have like leather
Yes.
scraps in it or some shit?
It had like fucking a gem and like some seeds. Oh, they yanked me. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a guy that yoinks.
What a bitch.
Right? Some bitch boy ran away. Come here.
I hate the dead eyes.
You bitch. Merciless Night Stalker boots. That's not what we need.
Fuck, that's not it.
It's fine. We got books. We break books. We get papers.
Yeah.
We use papers to do the thing. Yeah.
Learn all the things.
Choco mint supremacy. I agree. Oh, there's spicy people here. There's a 70%. Oh my god. I need him.
Oh, that's 77 road. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Tasty snack.
Pretty good.
How are we gonna do this? Just ham it? Ham in the paint?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah?
I think that's the plan. I don't really have any other plans.
No!
You just murdered him so fast.
Bro, he's so weak. That's so embarrassing for him. How embarrassing. Ow!
That was pretty
Okay, he makes spicy
fuck.
floor.
Yeah,
So
I don't like the spicy floor. Not a fan.
he weak as fuck though. I'm gonna switch to crossbow. Itai.
It's like breaking everything else.
Yeah, very nice of him.
Yeah, it's pretty
Oh yeah?
kind. Let's see. Kill me, bitch.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Oops.
Remember not to spam that.
What an idiot. Stinky bandit king. Oh, oh, he's got friends. 61% rogue.
Nice.
I don't know if it's worth trying to get blood. But you know.
Yeah, I guess he could probably clobber us while we were feeding, and it probably wouldn't be great.
Oh,
I shot him. That's fine.
I got him. I got a 61.
Hell yeah.
Spicy. Ah, this guy.
Nice.
Bitch ass.
That much.
Bitchiest of bitch asses. This guy. Come on, man. Give me peace. You? Get shot, you bitch.
Oh, fuck you.
Where you going? Please don't reset.
Nah,
That would be worst timeline.
that would not be great.
Ow.
Fucking slow.
This guy's actually a dingaling. Oh, stun? You, bro. Chill your man-tits. Please. Oh. He summoned more people. Is there a friend for you? Floor is spicy. Floor is spicy.
No, these are both low.
Oh! Eat, eat, eat.
My ass is kicked right now.
Your ass is grass. You should use the Healy thing.
I used the healing thing. I don't have any more healing.
Ow, 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 ow. Oh, oh, oh. Oh my god. Chicken and macaroni. Chilling with the homies. Chicken wing, chicken wing.
Timing.
Wait, bear? Hot dog and bologna. Chicken and macaroni. Chilling with the homies. Hi, homies. I'm just trying to not die currently. It is not going well, as maybe you can see. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, he bounced it back. What the fuck?
I'm just gonna try a potion and see. And see if I— oh, Jesus. Thank you for them shields keeping me alive, literally.
Better discuss shots apparently. Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Don't shoot him when that's up.
Ow. Oh, wait, that was you. I got heals.
That was me. Yeah.
Oh!
Oh my god.
He's
Tried
so
to
close. He's so
It's not working
close.
super well.
He's so close.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Don't die. Don't die. Just don't die. Ugh. We got him. We got him. Hey, yo.
Yes.
Welcome, Raiders.
My god.
It's your fail? J-Man, what do you mean, sir? Do you want to fucking go? Do you want to take this outside? I'm going to ban you for that. For talking shit. Welcome, Raiders. Oh my goodness. Mau Mau. How was your stream? Did you guys enjoy Pico Park? Oh wait, I have a... I'm gonna just close my browser quick, because that's a tab open to myself. No, thank you.
Oh. Oh yes.
Gross. Welcome, welcome, Raiders. If you don't know me, sorry it took me a while to introduce myself. My name is Nat Ortato. I'm a variety streamer from South Africa. I'm playing with my mod Jargon. We're playing V Rising. It's a lot of fun. You were testing friendships. Did you guys make it? Did you survive? Do you think you guys are gonna play games again? Stop healing me, motherfucker.
As nice as you can be. It
Yeah.
heals me too. Bro.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fine then. Oh, yeah, now we can check all the buildings, hey. Oh, chest.
Yes.
Who knows?
Just in time
Oh
for
my
the sun to
goodness.
come up.
Is that why you raided? You were like, I'm done. I'm done with them all. Goodbye.
Cannot blame you.
Like, I couldn't. It's a good game though. We had super fun with
Yeah, it was
Yoda.
tons of fun. Yeah, it was great. It was great.
I think it depends very much on the people you're playing with. If you play with people who are trying to make your life hell, then yeah, it's gonna be hell.
Intentionally.
Like Yoda's experience. The people he was playing with, he said they were just trolling the whole time.
Yeah.
I would not play with
That
those
can get
people again.
frustrating.
Easy. Goodbye.
We were like fully collaborating and it was still difficult. So I can't even
Yeah.
imagine if someone was trolling.
Like intentionally trying to make it miserable? No, thank you.
Yeah, fuck that. Life is miserable enough.
I was gonna say that's why I play with you, and then you said that, and I was like, now is not the time. Benby is very soft still.
Am I? Am I very soft?
Am I just
about
too
now?
loud? Do I turn
Is this
myself
better?
down?
Should
No,
I
you
just
just-
eat my microphone?
Yeah, just put it right in your mouth.
I can do it. It's fine. I'll eat it. It's fine.
No, no. You paid a lot of money for that. Please don't
It's
eat
too
it. Oh, fuck. They respawned?
Oh, who's this guy? Oh, that's not a good guy to fight.
Who? Where? What?
That brawler on the far side, he's the guy that like one-shots people.
Oh, really?
And the sun is coming up, so
Fuck.
I'm just gonna run away.
I'm gonna wolf form and yeet spaghetti.
That was my plan, and then they trapped me like 100 times.
The game hurts
shit.
your head. Oh no. Is
gonna
Binby
be
is
bad.
Binby fine now? Can you guys get her jogging?
I need to feast. Shit.
I need to just get the fuck out of here. Oh my god, the thing is regened the wall.
Oh really?
And I
Oh,
have like
fuck.
20 guys.
Am I gonna die? Oh,
I'm
fuck,
gonna
oh my
die.
God.
I'm gonna die. I might die. I might
I
die.
might die too.
No,
Shit.
I died.
No.
Please don't die.
I'm coming back.
How did you get out? Because the gate was like regened and I couldn't bear form.
It's open on this side. Will you fuck off, buddy?
Anyway,
Oh my god, please.
he was always doing ASMR, so I literally can't tell anymore. Kitty Gamer, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome to the posse. It's a better.
Need to.
This bro, I'm not joking. He's 200% on my Discord.
My microphone is literally directly next to my mouth now too.
I don't know what to
It's like-
do.
it's right here. It's right here.
I just turned myself down. More?
Should not be necessary.
Can bump that up a bit.
Let me
Thanks,
see if I
Ma.
can get to you.
Why don't you go around to like on the road? Because if you come here, this is where
I
the
guess
gate
if
is.
you're, yeah, I guess if there's a gate there.
I'm literally
yeah.
right by the gate, and there's no one near
So we
me.
didn't. Oh, I got an unsullied heart from that guy. What the fuck?
Nice.
I'll take it. Shit.
Just some urgency. There is a timer.
Yep. I'm nearly there. Well, I wasn't far away to begin with.
You're downloading Genshin Impact, J-Man? Nice. Must enjoy it.
Noise.
Schnoice. Also, the sun is
Just
moving.
kill this guy. Oh god. Stop.
Just don't die, yeah?
I will do my best. The
I'm just
fucking
hearing
sun
like
is,
fighting in the distance. It's much better now? Okay. So you need to eat your microphone, Joggin, is what they're saying.
Okay, cool. That's fine. I can eat my microphone. That's actually the purpose when I got it. I just
To eat it?
Every once in a while, you would tell me when you AFK'd, you could hear me breathing. So I was like, all right, never again. So from that point forward, my mic was very far away from my mouth.
Oh man. What did we get?
Oh, actually, I'm not sure. It's a good question.
Okay. Time to get the. Oh wow.
How do I break this?
You need to go out of bear form.
Yeah, that's what I mean. How do I get out of bear form?
What blood have you got?
42 warrior.
Okay, that's fine.
It's not terrible. It's gonna be pretty small too because I did not have a full thing.
Ooh, that's fine.
So we should probably go find something to eat soon.
That's okay. We done did a lot, you know, so it's okay.
We did. Yeah, I'd like to know what ability we got. Since
We
heals
want
are
to know
shieldy
you're still
bitch,
breathing.
that's probably good.
Yeah, I got ghost pops, Mamo. Ray bought me snack.
Ghost poops.
Ghost poops, because they don't look like ghosts. They look like little poops. Why they name it ghost pops? It's ghost poops. Poops only.
I'd be way more likely to buy something called ghost poops than ghost pops, to be completely honest. That would have been good.
Oh my god, we're
marketing.
literally right by the house, by the way.
Oh, are we really?
Yeah, we're just going the opposite direction. Should we head home?
Fine, yeah. Yeah, let's definitely go home. It'll be nighttime again soon, but
That's fine. We just go home,
just
grab
go
the
dump
next
everything
guy.
off. Yep.
We'll empty our pockets later. Is the crunching loud?
It's deafening.
Ah? I'll just mute
fine.
myself then forever. Goodbye.
Forever. So dramatic.
Goodbye, world.
So fucking so dramatic.
I never joined the drama club in school because it was always my older sister's thing, and she used to get mad at me if I did the same things as her. So I was just not allowed to do it. But in my final year of high school, she was not in high school with me because she's a year older, and so I joined the drama club, and they were like, actually, Matrix are not allowed to join, and I was just like, listen here, you chocolate covered fucks. Okay, I didn't actually say that, but if I had that vocabulary back then, I probably would have.
Yes.
Motherfuckers.
I thought you were gonna say they told you were too dramatic. For the
No.
drama club. Kick you out.
I wasn't even given an opportunity. Why is this shit sitting here? Did you put it there, maybe? I'm gonna put all the books in here. Books and no paper.
Books.
The books. Mm-mm-mm.
What did we get from that asshole?
Asshole.
Chaos barrier?
He just gave us bear form, didn't he?
No, we
bear.
had bear form.
Huh?
No, the guy gave us an ability. He gave us chaos barrier.
Oh, chaos barrier. Didn't you already have barrier?
We have Crimson Aegis. He gave us.
I
chaos
just
barrier.
took all. Fuck.
Fuck.
Picked up all the silver in the land.
Oh god.
That's why I panicked, because I was like, what's happening? My screen is all lit up. Messed up
does this
my perfect
it's
sorting.
directional. Interesting. It increases your movement speed? Okay, sure.
Let's pretend it does.
It says that it does. It's only 10%, but
Jeremy, bury me.
I don't think it doesn't seem very good. I'm not gonna use it. Might be good for like projectile situations, but it's fine.
Maybe we just chill this night.
Yeah, that's
go look for a better blood.
Yeah,
then,
probably.
Then we can go hunt again.
Yep. I think that's
Alright,
more...
hearts go in the thing. Oh, we got 2 unsullied hearts there. Oh, we have 3 greater blood essence now. Very tasty.
I have... Oh yeah, I have 1 unsullied heart, yeah. Pretty cool.
Tasty snacks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Dump off all this shit. We can break down books, which should give us enough paper to do more research.
Wait.
That'd be good.
I need plants. Are you breaking the books? Did you check what they were first? Oh wait, you haven't.
Where's
Okay.
my-
Why do we
okay,
have so
didn't I
many
pick up
bone
a-
spears?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We should definitely break those down too.
Yeah.
I don't need all that shit.
I'm gonna fucking burn this window.
Do it.
We have all of this, or... Oh no, wait, this is for a study. This is also for a study. We've got vest, boots. That we already have. And that we're... Okay, so we can break these two, and then save the other two, because the other two are for the study, which we don't have yet. But if we come here... This is my favorite thing in the game. This little guy.
He's pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
Dump that off too.
Hmm.
Bunches of paper. Got shit tons.
I had like a moment of panic. I was like, wait, what did you put in there?
Only the best things.
What did that give us? Eh?
I can break these down too. Definitely don't need those.
Did I miss that? Hi, Galaxy Wolf. I didn't see what it taught us. I didn't see it pop up.
I have no idea. Doesn't tell me.
Normally it like flashes and shows me as like, hey, here's a new thing. How you doing, Galaxy Wolf?
Well, I guess I can come look because it'll. I have to learn it, so I can come look and see what I have to learn. Mist Signet.
Oh, really?
Magic sources increase magic level and boost the power of spells. Oh, okay. So it's just a different ring.
Hmm. I guess.
I guess so.
Question mark?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I can break down these boys as well.
Bunch of animal hide.
Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna go have a run around now. See if I can find us some good blood.
Okay.
You can join when you're ready. I might go back. Is the stronghold a good place to go to? It's like right by our house. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, it can't hurt.
I mean, it can hurt. It can
It did
definitely
hurt,
hurt.
actually.
Yeah, it hurt pretty bad, actually. I'm doing good, Galaxy Wolf. And you, Jargon, how are you doing? Are you good, homie?
Definitely. Living my best life.
Also, happy Thanksgiving to all the American peoples.
It sounded so painful for you to say.
It's because I was like swallowing a half chewed ghost pop and also like took a chug of water or like took a swig of water. So I was like trying to force that shit down while while saying that. 21% rogue.
It's more
Oh Jesus!
sun resistance rating and ability
Assholes.
cooldowns. Doesn't seem super good. Also, we still don't have a hat, right? Or am I just missing something?
I don't think we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't. That's weird. Maybe it's like a cosmetic thing?
Maybe. I mean, it's kind of... It was like a thing in WoW, too. You had to wait until, like, level 25 or some shit to get your first helmet.
Hello? There we go.
Hello?
No, some guy was being a colossal asshat.
It was me. I am the classical asshat.
Yeah, Juggernaut's here. Wait, why? What?
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool.
There's 21% rogue that I'm gonna attempt to not
Yeah.
kill.
Munch him.
Never mind. Apparently I can't shoot.
Hi,
And now
Galaxy
his
Wolf.
friend has joined. Gross.
We love France.
Not this one.
And that stronghold is really close to our house. That's
Oof.
insane. I jumped so far away from it. I'm such an idiot.
Ooh. That guy was a hell of a dingleberry. So the only problem with ghost pops is they like you chew them, they get all soft, and then they stick to your teeth.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sounds like a. Are they similar to in like consistency to like cheese poofs?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're like.
Yeah, because it sounded like Cheetos, so
Oh.
it sounded very familiar.
Cheetos is like cheesy poofs.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's why I asked if they were like cheese poofs.
Do we have Cheetos in South Africa?
I can't tell you that. And not because I don't know, but because it's a secret.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a big spicy group around the corner.
Some more dudes over there. They're all pretty shitty. Oh, they got fucked up. Fucking dead eyes, man.
Sorry. I only saw
This is
afterwards he
fine.
was 19% and I was like, ooh,
Yeah, it's okay.
these guys are all garbagios. Oh, that was a pro play.
That was amazing, yeah.
Hot stepper. There's a
That
brute for
fucking-
you.
Oh, he's Skull though. That's the guy that like murders
Yep,
us.
I know. My thing
Oh
attacked.
shit. How much? Oh, it did a ton of damage to him. Hang on. Hang on, we can do this. Just don't let him charge you.
Jesus. The one thing you told me to not let him do, and I was just
Yeah,
like,
you
okay,
can just run away. Just run away. You have no HP.
I'm trying.
You're like literally dead.
Oh, leg.
Oh
Oh,
my god. Oh, he just hit me for 110. Jesus.
I got downed, by the
Oh
way.
my god, why? Oh, you did. Okay. shit.
Because I like dodged into you as it happened.
Gotcha. Eat
No,
shit,
you
buddy.
can probably get them, but they'll be expensive. Yeah, no. Oh no, and I'm gonna
All
take
right. Well,
your
you're gonna
brute.
get. Yeah,
Fuck,
you're gonna
man.
get brute.
That's okay,
I mean, it's
I'll
only
live.
15%, so I feel more bad that I'm overriding yours.
And it's only 21%, so it is what it is, you know. It'd be like that sometimes.
Truth.
I just died like an idiot after pro plays.
That charge just does so much fucking damage. It's
it
crazy.
literally like wiped me out hardcore. Whoa, why is the screen red? What is that? Like all around the edge.
Because we're fucked up, I think.
Oh, health?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh. Okay, well, do you want to keep going? Do you want to go somewhere
sure.
less spicy?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, this place isn't too bad. There's just a lot of guys. I mean, they're all pretty weak even. So I don't know. Could we encampment there, cemetery?
Got you, Tab. Thank you, Pea Squiddies. Eating Thanksgiving's food. Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving, Pea Squiddies.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Enjoy your food.
What did you eat today, Joggin? Did you have any? Oh wait, you
I've
had yesterday.
Fuck all today.
Unbelievable.
I had some chips today.
Chips? What chips you have?
Chips. So it's very hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're literally
I
called.
got time. I got nothing to do.
They're called Syracuse style,
I
which is the
explained
name of
fucking
the city
ghost
that I'm
poops
close
to
to.
you. Yeah.
And they're it's just because they're like
Is
there's
it like
28
fries
rogue.
or?
No, like potato chips. Like,
Oh,
like crisps. Do you want this rogue?
potato. Yes. Not this guy though.
Yeah, I'll kill this fuck, and then you can have him.
I'm scared to hit him because he's only 16. I'm just gonna take my weapon
Yeah,
off.
just claw him. Yeah.
Nope. I forget about that thing.
Oh, and your thing he's shooting, yeah. There you go.
Sweet. I mean, there's no point in importing Cheetos if they're literally like
Check this place.
cheesy poofs. Might as
Yeah.
well just buy cheesy poofs. They're dirt
Right,
cheap.
and knickknacks as well.
Yeah,
For
but
the
knickknacks
crunchy
are completely
Cheetos.
different.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
that's what you
crunchy
mean.
Cheetos.
The crunchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of odd to me that for us they're both the same brand. Like, but I guess the idea is that like crunchy Cheetos is they're Cheetos that they took the air out of basically. So I think that's the idea.
Or
Oh,
they
fuck.
just never put the air in.
Yeah, yeah. What I mean, yeah. However they make Cheetos, I don't know. Man, fuck you, buddy. Get off me.
Are you good? Do you need help?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. What? Whoa!
I'm just using this tiny sliver of shade.
I saw a chest in the distance. I was like, it's for me. I went around the corner to try and get it. There's just people everywhere.
Shit. Yeah, this camp always has a ton of chests in it. It's pretty nice.
Oh, I got friends.
Me too. Fuck off. Oh god, I got more friends. That was an unintentional number of friends. Did not want.
Hello,
Oh
baby.
hey, I'm bringing some friends.
Okay, that's cool. We can have a party in here.
Hell yeah. You can just spin to win. Just big AoEs.
Got him. I'll take that. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. The tricks. Oh,
Hi,
shit.
Vitrix. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Eat shit. Oh, okay, I ate shit there. Oh, I ate shit again. Oh my god, imagine. So embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
Please do not perceive me. Oh, it's for me?
Yeah, Puggy, they're both the same. They're both Cheeto brand.
But one is just Cheetos and the other one is what do you call it?
Yeah, the puffy
Crunchy.
ones are just Cheetos, and then the other ones are the knickknacks are crunchy Cheetos. And you can all get the flaming hot versions,
Uh-oh.
of course.
Uh-oh, I got silver. And my gloves are broken.
Oh shit!
Well, breaking, I guess. Not broken.
I have like fuck all for blood too. I still need to find somebody.
Trying my best, man.
No, you're fine. If you want to run home with the silver,
Not really.
I can just keep running around. Okay, that's fine too.
In other words, I don't want the silver.
We need to get that human form so you can
No
spend it.
worries, Vitrix. Have a lovely, lovely evening. Thank you again so much for the call earlier. Puggy, I need to show you something. Actually, I need
Wow,
to show
there's
all of
just
you
an
guys.
unsullied heart sitting on the road.
Ew. You
I'm
want
okay with it.
roadkill hearts?
That's fine if it's unsullied. I don't know how it's
Ow.
unsullied sitting on the road, but
That's a
This is
dirty
A-okay
heart.
with me.
I might run home just because we're close.
yeah, but go ahead. I'm just wandering around looking for basically any motherfucker at this point.
Because I can't transform like this. So I'm stuck being slow as hell. I need to resist the impulse desire to port backwards. Because every time I do the thing, it's like recast, and I'm like, no, don't do it.
Oh yeah, I spammed the shit out of the button.
There's a 35% rogue here. Shit.
Oh, that's pretty good.
But he's got friends.
Is it good for you? Oh, it is good for you. I can come help.
If I just pick them off one by
Pack
one,
of assholes anyway.
maybe they won't notice me.
Yeah. Yeah, if you one-shot them, they don't seem to notice for some strange reason, so...
Whoops. Okay. Whoops. Who was that? Oh, this is a brute.
Here's that brute. What a weak ass.
Ow! He yoinked me. Okay, that's the guy that I want.
Rogue friend is left. Cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Let's go
take my
cooked.
weapon off. Oh, whoops! I always forget about that. Shit, man.
It's doing the work for you.
It is. So I stop
in
attacking
a
when that
spooky way.
happens.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know puffy Cheetos existed. You've only seen the knickknacks version.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the Knickknacks version, but so I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
Hot dog and bologna, chicken and macaroni, chilling with the homies. Chicken wing, hot dog and bologna, chicken and macaroni, jogging, typing furiously. Chicken wing, hot dog and bologna, chicken and macaroni, chilling with the homies. Welcome, welcome, homies. Hi, Sonora. You were playing Coral Island. Are you enjoying it? Sorry, poor Joggin's getting like shouting in his ears.
This is fine.
Are you enjoying it? I fucking love that game. It is so good. Welcome, Raiders. I hope you had a wonderful time with Sonora. My name is Nato Tato, variety streamer from South Africa, currently playing with Joggin. You are enjoying it? Ah, shit. What do you like the most? What part of the game do you enjoy the most? Joggin, the entire time I was playing, he was just like, can you go mining? That's all he's interested in. He just wants to go mining.
I want the action. I need the action. Not a farmer.
That rock bashing action.
Yeah.
Gotta smeech them rocks. You just started diving, you enjoying that? Oh, I love the diving as well. I thought that was quite cool. Sir, do you want to go fight a thing?
Ooh. Found an 87% creature. I think I'm gonna take it. Oh god, there's so many dudes here though.
I want to die. I just clicked take all again. For fuck's sakes. Actually, I'm just gonna do like so.
Can I do this without them killing me? Let's see. Just sitting here taking a beating.
Have you played my time?
Okay, so far so good.
Please don't die. I am nowhere near you. I have played my time at Porsche. It's been a while though, to be fair. But also a very good game.
They fixed the gate.
Uh-oh. Are you Gucci fam?
Yeah, the other one was still broken. Okay, cool.
Oh god.
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. I can breathe again.
That was really spicy.
So I don't know if you can see, but like the glove icon looks like gloves you'd use to like wash dishes and shit.
Oh yeah,
The broken
like the latex gloves.
Yeah. It reminds me of that game. Ah, you wooed Arlo? Listen, Arlo was my... Oh, no, I did it again! Fucking shit, crap, shit!
Kicking everything.
Bro, like literally, like, give me a break,
I love the
man.
stream delay so I can watch it happen after the reaction. The full experience.
BRB, I'm just gonna go cry, I'm getting bullied. Okay, this goes here. This is plant, heart, plant, another plant, rat, and another fucking bone spear. Cool.
Hell yeah.
That's for the boy. Arlo was Bay, definitely. He was my first choice.
Attack me, what the fuck?
Sorry. I'm just very annoyed right now. Hi, Smurf! How you doing?
Hey, Smurf.
Smurf.
I almost did take all on the blood essences.
Bro.
That was close.
Okay, what do I need to repair these gloves? Leather? Okay, easy.
Oh, I got some glass. That's cool.
Glass,
Some gloss, sorry.
Some gloss. Some gloss
Yeah.
for your ass.
Exactly.
You also want to, everyone wants to marry Arlo. He is a cutie though. I can't even blame you guys. How do I fix this again? Do I... Oh, just like that, I guess. I wonder, we should probably repair our armor, to be fair.
Probably, yeah.
I don't know about you, but mine's looking a little spicy.
It's looking about half for most of mine.
Yeah. Watson Arlo, he's a character, a romanceable character in my time at Porsche. Have you guys played what is it called? My Time at Sandrock? Because that's the next game.
Ooh.
Oh, that was not what I wanted to do.
I need more salve.
Yeah, I have 3.
Do we get improved salve at some point? Because
I have not. I'm not gonna lie.
it's a little weak for where we're at right now.
So there's brews, but none of them seem to be like healing brews. Oh wait, hold on. There is a rose. Oh wait, I can make tons of these. Let me go make these. Shit, man. I was like, what do I do with all these blood roses? Yeah, like better healy pots.
Nice. Love that.
Love that for us. My Time at Porsche. Yeah, so My Time at Sandrock is the sequel. I think they're somehow related. What do I need to make these? Cool. I'll make 5 each. Do you need stuff to repair your armor? I have some stuff on me.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna
I
sit
haven't
in
taken
the...
anything. Yoink.
Yoink.
Thanks.
You didn't play the sequel? Felt like the first was enough? Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I haven't played it. I just, like, I'm keeping an eye on it because I played My Time at Porsche, like, years ago. And haven't played it since. I played it when it was still, like early access. They didn't have all the things. There was a lot of Chinese dialogue, which obviously I can't read. But there was a lot of that as well. Okay, I'm still crafting potions, but I'll drop a stack for you when it's done.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
Speaks.
So do you still need blood? You outies, Galaxy Wolf?
No, I'm good now.
Have a good one. Sweetest dreams.
Good night, Galaxy Wolf.
Oh, Vitrix called me kiddo. I'm gonna fight with her. Let's not take this outside, Vitrix. I missed messages.
Sounds like something a kiddo would do.
We lived together for a while, and then we lived like 15 minutes apart. How did we never see the same snacks? Yeah, that's actually a very good point, Puggy. What did we ever eat snacks together? I have no idea.
I can't think of a world where you wouldn't have eaten snacks with Puggy. Like, that doesn't make sense to my brain.
Puggy, we need to have a snack call where we just sit and eat snacks. We don't even need to talk. We just sit there crunching whatever we crunch on. We had Chip Tuesdays at university, so we would meet up in the cafeteria on a Tuesday, and literally we'd need to sit there and eat fries. That was it. That was Chip Tuesday.
That's pretty great.
I very looked forward to it because the chips were fucking cheap and they were very good as well. So I guess we can just prepare ourselves. I don't think we have enough time to do a hunt, but...
Oh, I need to go. Yeah, that's fine.
You need to go? Okay, bye.
No, I need to go
Bye.
to drop more stuff off.
Bye. Breathe. Oh, I can build some things. Okay.
Try not to
Cotton
breathe,
yarn.
actually.
What the... Okay, that needs iron. My ears ringing. Ugh.
Oof.
It's very...
You should answer it.
Painful. Hey! Shut the fuck up.
Wow.
Making such... Oh, we've got iron. We've got iron. Like it's smelting now, because we have the recipe unlocked.
Nice.
Also, we
That's
do
awesome.
have lots of glass. Because we've
Tons
been picking it up.
Tons of glass? Yeah.
Yeah, tons of glass.
Yeah, that's
I
what I said.
can say it that way. It doesn't hurt me to say it that way. But it sounds like it hurts
Doesn't
you to
hurt
say
me.
glass. It sounds like you're in
It
pain.
does. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty terrible.
It's like you've got like hamsters in both of your cheeks while you're trying to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Wimpy. Was it not Wednesdays that it was bottomless chips? Our friendship was built on a foundation of potato chips, so more so than anything else. I don't know about snacks, but like definitely chips. Chip Tuesdays. Wasn't it Wednesdays? I thought it was Wednesdays, the Wimpy chips.
Ooh.
Go sit in a cafe and have some chips. We'll pretend we're at Wimpy. Better yet, get yourself an air fryer, then you can have chips all the time. This sounds like a bad idea. Maybe don't do that. Okay, I have nothing to upgrade. I just took my pants off. I have nothing to upgrade.
Excuse me?
In the game. All my...
You need a fucking TOS. Jesus.
But the thing is, it's not visible. I could
Yeah, you may
always
as
be
well not even
streaming
have
without
legs
pants
right
on.
now.
No one knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
I think about that when I join work calls all the time. I'm like, if they make me turn my thing on, like, it won't actually matter. They can't see anything below the desk.
Yeah, listen. They don't know. They don't know shit.
There's no way to know.
I would
How
like
would they
I
know?
was teaching like in jam pants and all sorts and like booty shorts in the middle of summer because I was like, it's too fucking hot for this shit.
Yeah. None the wiser.
I like how we just skipped all the levels for
Yeah, we're just too strong.
strong like bull. Okay,
Yeah,
who's
exactly.
next? Who's study? Oh, this guy's got the study. Nicholas the Fallen. Okay, so he summons Oogie Boogies. Oh, it requires paper. We must start saving paper. We have just not enough for that, so it's okay. It shouldn't take long. And Beatrice the tailor. Oh, she gives us the recipe for cotton yarn. Okay. Yeah,
I think for the rat, it says that like, as legend says, there's any place too infested might find themselves visited by the putrid rat. So we might have to like spawn him basically.
Okay.
Like maybe just by like.
Oh no! Putrid rat. I know where it is. It's on the little thingy majiggy, the thing that I built here that I don't use anymore. The vermin nest. This makes the putrid rat.
Oh,
Sorry.
does it make it?
Yeah.
Oh.
But there's a fish that we need for it.
Oh, putrid rat. I see. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't put 2 and 2 together though.
Interesting. Ew, you can make mosquitoes?
No, thank you. Those just
but it
make
yields
themselves.
Scales? Why do they have scales?
Ugh. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, I don't want any of those.
Silver resist. Oh my god. We need to go. Next time. We need to do Beatrice as well. But we'll go for what's this man's name? Nicholas? Nikolaus? Nikolaus, because interesting spelling. Yeah, he gives us 2 powers, which is pretty cool. But Beatrice gives us human form.
Oh, the human form, yeah, fuck yeah. And
the
loom.
We get a recipe for we get garlic resistance and silver resistance. So that's the words I was trying to say. Recipe. It is a recipe
nice.
though.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like technically it's instructions because you're like making something, but you know, recipe is okay.
That's fine.
Alright, I don't know what else. I think blood-wise we're fine. Like, won't be hungry for a bit. I don't feel like building.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go have a squeeze. We need iron though. Oh, we might as well grab the blood now.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to do...
I don't know,
We'll
doing two in a day is a little bit spicy, but we can maybe travel so long.
Okay.
Like when it's
Vincent's
day.
on here.
Vincent!
Mm-hmm.
Where's Vincent?
And Tristan.
Wait, there's Tristan. Where's Vincent? Oh, there he is, the frost. Oh, what does he give us?
Lower.
Prison cell? The fuck? Okay. Cool. Oh, Vincent's the next one. Okay, so yeah, so I've taken Nicholas.
Okay, I'll get Beatrice.
And you can get
then.
Beatrice. Actually, I'm gonna step away for a second.
Okay.
Because there's something in my eye and it's been irritating me for a while. So I'm gonna be right back.
Yeah, I'm gonna AFK as well. I'll
Okay.
also be right back.
No worries. I'm gonna throw on the BRB screen maybe? When is the ad? 20 minutes? Okay, I'm not gonna throw y'all on the ad. I'm just gonna throw you on the BRB screen. Did that work? It did. Okay. That worked. And then... BRB! I'll be back in a second. Oh! Shotgun? You can just run up to them and shoot them in the face? Where is this guy? Money, 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 money! Make an offering. Did you guys see that? What did he just do? Did you guys see that? Listen, Tango, they never say why the power's out. They're like, oh yeah, there's a fault. I'm like, yeah, it's your fault the power's out. Turn it back on. My god. See, but I like it. A pussy tight pussy free pussy fresh. No, piss! I had that song stuck in my head earlier today. What a clip to come back to. Oh no. Alright. And camera. There we go. I think everything's fine. I need to remember to press like the right combination of buttons, so that I unmute and I unmute the Discord. Did it actually do it? Okay, yeah. The Discord and turn on the camera and switch the scene and whoa. I maybe need to make a button to make it switch scene and turn the mic back on. So many things to do. So little brain power to do it in. Let's see. Sulfur. I actually don't know if we need raw sulfur for anything, so I can just throw it in there. And this guy has also got a bit of sulfur. Oh, I can come here. I can come here. Boop. We can't do that yet. This is fine. This is still doing its thing. That takes forever to smelt. Holy shit. Well, I say forever. It's not really. Being a little bit dramatic. You know what? Anyway. We actually do have a lot of these roses. We might as well actually collect a lot of them now as well. I wasn't collecting them for a while because I was like, what the f— there's so many. What do I do with them? Now I know. We need potions so we don't die. I'll just make I'll just make an extra 2 for us. This is a-okay. Jeremy and his friend Andrew. Okay. I make... Is Jargon pooping? I think he is. Oh wait! Hey? Oh, I made us 5 before? Okay, that's fine. This is just a spare then, I guess. Ah! What is this violence? Why are you not talking? I was like, did I mute you by mistake? You actually been talking this whole time.
Can't believe it.
Did you mute yourself and forget?
Yeah, of course I did. No, I muted myself intentionally.
Oh, okay.
Oh, do I need these? You give me 2 more brews?
Oh yeah, it's like spare, it's like extra just
okay.
in
Cool.
cases. Okay, shall we depart? We can start heading towards whatever his name is. It says tracking an unknown V-Blood, and I'm just like, bro, I know who I'm tracking. What do you mean? I just don't remember his name. Oh yeah, wolf form would be a good idea.
Yeah, it's the best idea.
Yeah, the best idea in the history of ever, or...
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, okay.
Definitely.
So, I'm thinking he might actually be in this place here. We'll see where the blood goes.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, I think he's in here. Because he's a Oogie Boogie, right? And he summons the the Boogies. So it only makes sense that he's in the Oogie Boogie place. Yeah, I think we need to go back.
Okay. Go back to the entrance.
I'm like, where's the fucking entrance? There's oh, we could have kept going. I'm sorry. That scared the shit out of me. What scared the shit out of you? Me saying Oogie
Was it
Boogie?
me?
No, Joggin is ASMR. He can't scare.
Yes, I am only ASMR. There's
You're
no scare.
only whisper.
Yes. No scare.
Skeleton priest. Fuck his shit up. You can all eat a colossal bag of shit. And dicks. Actually, that sounds disgusting.
Oh, fuck. Didn't mean to do
Book? Merciless copper sword. I'm so glad.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so I think
So,
he's somewhere
paper?
in here. Peppa? Peppa Pig? No? No Peppa?
Definitely.
No Peepa? No Peepa Pig? Oh, Undying Ghoul. Okay, we don't need to loot the graveyard. Let's make haste.
Fucking mages.
Where are they?
On the stairs.
Oh, are those mages?
Yeah.
Nice. Noisy. Okay. I think this bitch is here. Hi, Cupcake. Hi, hi, hi. Hello. How are you?
Yellow cupcake.
Cupcake. Eat shit, you bastards. Nice. Ooh, graveyard does. I'll take that.
Stone. Don't really need that. Oh, blood dudes.
Yo! I'm doing some spicy
Increase.
things. Give me health, you bastards. Oh, geez, more. Oh, jeez. Okay, I need to stop doing spicy things. I need to relax. Drink a juice. You maybe drink a juice
Same.
also?
Yep.
Yeah, that looks like pretty good regen. Goddamn. Because the last one was like 2.5. This one is 4%. Why is it always shit talk when I enter today? Bastards must eat shit. Listen. It is the flavor of this channel. If you don't like it,
It's poop flavored.
this channel is poop flavored. If you don't like poop flavor, get out of here. I'm sorry to say. What a terrible day to have.
Oh, there he
ears.
is. Yeah.
I see him. You ready? You ready? You wanna go? You wanna go?
That's spoopy. Yeah, let's get him.
Eat shit, Niklaus. Oh, hey, he's got a lot of friends.
Oh, yeah, he hit me really hard too.
Also, his friends are weak shit. His friends are the weakest shit.
Good.
Which is great, because he's something like 20 of them.
Yeah, he's just gonna keep summoning more.
It's just I think they body block, so...
Oh yeah, that's super annoying. Just trying to spam Q as much as I can.
Yeah, it's good, it's good.
Nope, just
This
looking
is for
fun.
Jeremy Baramy, you bastard. Ow.
Heal me, you bitch.
Woo, 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 woo. I got feared, which literally saved my life.
Oh shit. Oh no!
Never mind, I died.
It happened. Oh my god. These guys suck.
Yeah. It says X to respawn, but does that make me respawn at home? Probably.
It does, yeah.
Are you gonna be fine by yourself?
We'll see. Oh, my
Jesus.
god.
Yeah, that's what killed
Those
me.
hit for... Yeah, that is a lot of damage. They hit me for 63.
See, you got called senior, not senior. Senior jargon.
So,
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
Cupcake.
Basically true.
Is this guy fucking healing himself? The bastard. Oh, Oh, is he resetting? Oh,
Yeah, he might be resetting.
he's reset himself. What a cunt.
That's fine.
Thank you for the hydrate. Jargon, hydrate with beer.
Got it.
What blood have you got?
87% creature.
Okay. Better than a kick in the teeth.
Yeah, high percentage, but not ideal.
Do we want to try this again? Do we want to wait for a blood moon, or what do you think?
I mean, we probably would be fine. You just have to find a way to avoid that, like, circle thing.
Be
that he
more
does.
sensible about attacks is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I was being a
I wonder if I
bit
could
of a dummy.
reflect that.
Is Jargon not senior? Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
You know that I am. You bastard.
Oh, I thought you were saying me. I was like, bro, I know you're not calling me a bastard.
No, of course not. I would never. Jeez.
Jargon been drinking, now he's spicy.
Yeah, I've had half a beer. Big time drinking.
Yeah, yeah. It does sound like big time drinking.
Let's get him.
Get him! Fatum, Fluffy! You eat a...
That's rude. It's also rude, motherfucker. Oh, I got feared.
Yeah, that's sometimes a good thing, to be honest.
Ah, eat shit, buddy. Oh, fuck, I didn't have another one for that. Sad.
Oops.
Feared again.
I forgot that I had crossbow on. I tried to spin to win. I lost.
Oh no. Not ideal.
Not really, no. Do you know what fucks with my brain the most?
What's up?
The pull in the middle. Because I think that's my health every time.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's from years of playing Diablo.
Yeah, like literally.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's my health pool. It's looking a little bit low, hey?
This reflecting is actually working out pretty well.
Yeah? Ooh, mind that,
I
mind
wonder if I
that.
can do it for this. I'm gonna try to do it.
He just destroyed a
Oh,
tree.
it does work. That's fantastic.
Look how many...
Oh, shit.
I'm getting body blocked, like proper.
Oh, that is a lot of dudes. Holy
Yeah.
fuck. Is he doing this thing again? Yeah, he's doing
Yeah.
this thing again. Avoid as he can. Fucking asshole.
I'll try and cull the masses.
Oh yeah, I'm really low. Fuck. I'm probably gonna go down.
Run away, rather.
Oh, you hit me with a fucking AoE.
Fuck.
Didn't realize that exploded. That's fucking rude.
Oof. Spicy attack. This asshole. That should be damaging him. To be honest.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I should just respawn.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why not make you
Your
respawn?
blood is so low.
Oh. I see, I see.
I'm just gonna respawn and try to run back.
I'm a hot stepper. Let me not die now after saying that.
Do I have to Oh, I don't have a... Shit. Okay. That's unfortunate. I don't have a coffin, so I couldn't spawn at home.
Oh no, where did you spawn?
I had to spawn at a teleport point.
Okay, did you get to pick which one, or?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Jesus.
But none of them are very close to where we were, so...
You can, I guess you can entertain chats while you're running.
Hey, Chad, how's it going?
Because I honestly, I'm scared to look at chat right now.
For your whole life, yeah.
Eat an actual sack of shit, guy.
Senior jargon, much better. Oh, I'm frailed now because I respawned. Is this some sort of MMO hybrid? It's
Ow!
not MMO. You can there's like servers and stuff. It's like pretty much identical to like the multiplayer in like Valheim. You can like join your friends, or you can join.
Sun is rising.
Oh, that's not great.
Yep. I don't know if there's any shade up here.
Yeah, it's pretty wide open. Wait, where am I right now? The wrong fucking place. That's right.
Shit.
You still have a lot of HP though, so that's good.
Jesus Christ on a cracker. I think there's like a smog or smoke here that's keeping me alive.
Oh,
I'm
right,
not
that is a
burning.
thing. I forgot about that.
Do you know
You can
the-
make those for the house and stuff too.
Oh. Shit.
Just outside the graveyard. Fuck's the entrance? Oh, it's over there. Okay.
My blood is like 0. Ow!
Oh, yeah. Shit. Just need to make it back, please.
Oof, oof, oof.
Oh, these priests are back. How did you respawn already?
Oh. This
Oh,
is
God,
well and truly
shot.
not good because I can't heal right now.
God, I'm gonna get there with no HP from these fucking mages.
Oh, fuck. I literally don't have enough time to like heal to pot, but like I'm literally one hit away.
There's so many priests.
I died.
Fuck. Oh man, I was like right outside too. God, that sucks.
You're vibing? He's reset.
He reset? Yeah, he's
Yeah.
fully reset. Ah, fuck. Okay.
That's fine. We know that we can
That's
sit here.
butts.
You have like 20 guys following you, by the way. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
yeah, it's a little spicy.
Were you waiting for them to reset or?
Yeah, I was hoping they were. Most of them did.
Fuck, I was so close! Man, fucking hot stepper. Just died right at the end. He was so close. I feel like
Son
it
of
would
a
be a
bitch.
shit cracker. Man would turn into wine. I like wine, but not when I went to cracker. Yeah? I mean, to each their own, yeah? Fuck, I'm so annoyed. I tried a pot, but like...
That's pretty annoying.
I was just getting like constantly smashed, you know?
He's toof.
It is
There's some
too-
shit blood now.
Yeah, I see that. I don't know. We can't take undead blood, hey? Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
have blood.
none of these skeletons or anything, yeah.
Do you want to go look for something before we try and take this guy again?
Probably a good idea.
Yeah. I'm gonna wolf form and hop out of here. Because I ain't fighting these some bitches. Ow.
clobbered me.
I walked into the thing that was targeted at you. So glad.
Perfect.
Cool.
Is this even the right way? No.
Why?
Well,
Where
I
do
guess
you? Where are you
anyway is
going?
the right way.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, as long as we
Camp
find
here.
someone to eat. 1% brute, 6% rogue. Listen, anything will do right now. There's 8% rogue. 6% warrior. Warrior. Oh, 2% rogue that spotted me. That's a dead eye, the worst kind.
God, they're so annoying. Oops.
Truly. What is that over there? 31% warrior, if you want.
Well, that's not bad.
Better than a kick in the teeth. Ow.
Quite a bit. Oops, or I'll crit and one-shot him.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, there's more people here.
Suppose that's fine. Why can't I crit and one-shot these fucking dead eyes? Why'd I have to do it with the one that I actually give a shit about?
Ah, shit. Hee hee hee. Damn it. I'm so mad that I died. I was so close.
Yeah, it sucks. I took like a wrong turn in the cemetery too, so if I hadn't done that,
Oh,
I probably would have gotten there in time.
a second.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah, I goofed. I don't know what I did, but I goofed. No beaches? Oh, I'll take the 12% rogue.
12% rogue, yeah.
It's better than nothing. You should get some sleep. Yeah, yeah, Puggy. Definitely. Oh, there's a fish. Alright, I don't know if you want to keep looking. Or if you want to go fight the boy.
It's probably okay. I don't
Yeah.
know if... Sure.
We can go to this entrance.
I think it's more of a skill issue than anything else,
Also,
so...
the sultry monster can is still tempting me with the fruity flavors. I'll BRB while I go get water and tell the monster not to do. Today we won't be sweet lovers, Kappa Kep.
Oh! resist temptation. These guys ain't shit.
Yoink.
Yeah, I'm drinking water. I'm missing a bit of health. How do we do that thing? Blood mend. Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Bro! Literally.
That was me during the entire Bandit Lord fight. Me trying to shoot you with that thing, and you would just like dance out of
really?
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
it was fucking... No, I mean, you were dodging his attacks, like you couldn't help it. But every time it happened, I just died a little inside.
Understandable. Ow. Oh, our friend's back.
Motherfucker.
Okay, we can go the most direct path. We don't need to and ah about where this guy is. Yeah, crazy gamer. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the posse. How you doing? Why you laughing, sir? What's funny?
That didn't help really at all. Fuck. Oh my god. Guys,
Yeah, these guys are slammer.
Mages are assholes.
I just got caught in a double bomb because these guys are double douchebags.
Correct.
Imagine being born and you're a colossal dickhead like this. God damn, that's embarrassing, bro. Oof. Spicy deluxe. Stand still.
Drink some brew. It's my max
Brew,
HP slow.
my brew. Brian's so
My
aggressive
brew.
in the beginning. He can be a little bit aggressive. Do you want to hit me? Thanks. An avocado.
Mm-hmm. Tasty
Straight up.
snacks.
Straight up to the boy. Skip all them Them dingleberries.
More mages.
Of course, naturally. Why wouldn't they be here? Oh, I can't dodge. Could that time? I have like 3 frames current. Ow, you fuck. I just watched you dodge out of my heal, so that's cool. So glad you did that.
Mm-hmm. It's the only thing I'm good at dodging.
It's like heals? No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm alright.
I'm not a noob, I don't need heals. Well, on the plus side,
only
we
that
have a
were
lot of
true.
bone.
All the barricades are back.
Okay. He's gonna destroy a lickety split though, so it doesn't matter too much.
Oh, we can jump down. So if things do get too spicy.
But he'll reset.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess if one person can just hang around.
If we just like end up over here and there's like trouble, then
Yeah, well hopefully no one spawns down there. So I'm
also a good point.
still healing. Like the max amount is healing. All the
Oh,
time.
max HP. Okay.
Yeah. Let me take the hearts off there so I don't accidentally eat it. I got a bone axe.
Also a good idea.
How much health do you have? You look maxed.
Yeah, I'm basically maxed. My max HP is fine.
Yeah, I think we're good to go. Do we try bow? I think I try bows this time.
Yeah.
You good? You good? Go,
Sure.
go, go.
Sure.
Ow! Fucking.
Oh god, I'm stuck in here.
Yeah.
Assholes.
That's why the. They're a little bit of an issue, those guys. Oh, I got feared.
Oh my god, what the fucking skill shots.
Skill shots, what's that?
Don't know her.
All my Scots. All my Scots? All
your
my shots are
Scots.
skillless.
Oh god, I did the thing I shouldn't do.
Which is?
I spammed the teleport thing.
Oh,
So I ended up back where I started.
it can sometimes be good to do that.
Yeah.
Ow. Ow, fuck. Piss
You guys wanna
off.
fuck off? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm
feared
saying?
in the corner. Tons of friends.
Oh, I got a heal on you. Okay, I walked straight
God,
into that.
dude.
Yeah, I think we need to take care of some of these friends. Even though his health is lower. Feels good when you like
A lot of friends.
can hit a lot of them. Oh, I got feared into the corner. Lovely. Oh, there's less friends now unless they're chasing you.
There's a ton on me, yeah.
Oh, I'll take care of these guys then.
This is all fucking AoE, man. The thing he throws like bursts at the end, so like if you get caught in that, it's really annoying. Alright, can you die, buddy?
Ow!
How the fuck? Actual asshole. Most of his friends are dead.
Yeah, I think we can focus him again.
Okay.
I actually haven't been doing like actual shots on him, I just realized now. Because I'm doing so much like juking.
Right. I mean, if that's all you can do, like, it's definitely more important.
Ow, okay,
That's right,
dodged
below.
into one of those. I am spicy meatballs.
Oh god. It's like stuck over here.
Please and thank you. Give me health. Nice. Okay, mind balls of fury.
Oh, it like snuck around me. God, that's so annoying. Oh, fuck you. Come on.
I tried to heal you, but you moved. I didn't
Oh,
cast
fuck.
it.
He
Huh?
point blanked me. I'm dead. Or I'm down. I can just run again.
You don't have a coffin though.
Yeah, that would be really helpful because our house is really close to here.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so close. It's whirly whirlies.
Busted.
Dickhead.
Dickhead of note though.
Yeah, for real.
For realsies, not for play plays. Eat shit, Nicholas.
Yes. Fucking nice work, dude.
Where is he?
He's dead. You
I
killed
got him.
Yeah, you killed him.
This little dingleberry that's still attacking me. Let me not die to him.
Imagine dying to that, yeah.
I would spit. I would seethe.
It'd be the end.
Okay, I'm not gonna claim him just yet because I don't know if he'll like despawn.
Oh, I don't want him to... Yeah, so... res me first, and then we'll just get
Oh
him.
right, I can raise you. Which one is you?
Yeah, I'm
Where
right
are
here.
you?
I'm this one.
Is this you?
I don't know. Yeah, that's me.
Oh,
I don't know
he's
how to point it
there.
out.
Sorry.
He's like in the
No!
weeds. Oh, that's okay.
What the? I'm pretty sure it said revive. Did I press the wrong button? I might have.
That's alright. We share the thing, so...
Do
it's
we?
not-
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Oh, my heart.
Good work.
Thanks.
Very well done.
And an
Another ring
unsullied
thing.
heart. I'll take that.
So much bone and stuff.
Bones. Thanks for the bones, you fucking nerds. I have 300 bones.
Yeah, it's in at 380 as well. It's pretty cool. Alright, let's fucking...
Yeet
Go somewhere
spaghetti.
else.
I agree.
I need AFK again for a few minutes.
No worries. Maybe go home.
Jenny. Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Eh. Not me getting body blocked by a bunch of fucking skeletons. Fantastic.
Fucking assholes.
As you ran past, the major spawned them, and I was like, shit. They blocked the top of the
Just
stairs.
walls of skeletons.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice.
Got him. Cool, I'm just gonna put stuff away.
Okay, I'll be back in a couple minutes.
No worries. Alrighty, what did we get from this guy? Pestilence. Launch a wave of 3 unholy projectiles that each deal 40% magic damage. Knocks the target back. Inflicts amplify. Increases damage taken. Movement speed. Blocks melee and projectiles in front of you. Summons a scat. Oh! Hello, Necromancer! Please and thank you. That could be interesting. I don't know about the Pestilence one though. It could be good. Unholy. What do I have currently? 2 bolts, 110%. So this is more of a debuff than a damage. But I quite like the Healy Blood thing. Do we have any... Oh, we do. I wasn't sure if Ray was knocking on the door. We have an ultimate ability. I didn't realize. So what does that do? Charge forward, grab an enemy, dealing 125% magic damage. Push them in front of you. 100% magic area damage. Inflicts a stun. Oh my god, that's amazing. The casting is maybe a little bit yucky because it's on T, but it's okay. I'll live, I guess. Move your ass, Andrew. Got more paper, which is fantastic. Duskwatcher's ring, which I think I can salvage. Hearts, blood. Fish? Nope. Almost click take all again. Let's not do that. And then Jeremy. You can change the key. Yeah, I might. I have tiny hands. That's the only problem. So reaching for the T is a bit of a reach. But it's the alt, so I'm guessing I don't use it that much. So maybe it's okay? We'll see. That is not actually what I wanted to do at all. Anyway. But thank you. I will keep that in mind. If I find that it's maybe too much of a hassle. That is a disgusting sound. That is very well done. Let's see. We can go put the boy in the thing. Let's see. This one and this one. This one we already have. Yeah. Yes, Smurf, why are you laughing? You laughing because I got tiny hands? Do you wanna catch these tiny hands? Do you wanna take this outside, Smurf? Just say the word. Meet me in the McDonald's parking lot. You can catch these tiny hands. Oh, the gross sound. I was like, Smurf wants to fight? Let's fucking go. But okay, that's fine. You don't want to fight me. It's fine. I understand. I wouldn't want to fight me either. You buying? Yes. No. I've had Smurf 4 nights this week. We've had no electricity over dinner time, which means we've had to eat takeaways because we don't have a gas stove, and it's the fucking worst. I'm so annoyed. My boyfriend, on the other hand, loves it because, you know, loves takeaways, but I want vegetables, man. Ones that aren't raw onions, tomatoes, and lettuce in a burger. Just me? Oh no! Bring your plasters? Oh my goodness. No, Smurf. I'm teeny tiny. I couldn't hurt a fly. Please don't kill me. Oh, I got more paper. Do we have enough? I guess, do we still need the old recipes? I don't know, man. I know. If I buy you McDonald's, then you... Please don't hit me. Let's see. This one here. And then... We've got all the things. I think these boys have got some things on them. I haven't used this stuff in so long because we just have like an abundance. Yeah, we don't really need anything at the moment. I say this now, we'll probably need stuff in a bit. Okay, so Oreo McFlurry, and you'll take me off the hit list. You got it. That's the cheapest getting off the hit list I've ever seen. I'll take it, man. Okay, so increases blood consumption rates. That's good to know. Okay. Cotton yarn. I need to make this thing, which requires cotton yarn, but I can't make cotton yarn until we kill her. So... Hope I can make it on this thing. Probably not. Well, fuck. You went for a McFeast the other day and it was over 100 Rand for the meal. Yeah, I don't know. I know, like, if you order it, like Uber Eats, that shit can be quite expensive. But, like, even going there to eat, it's surprisingly pricey. Oh, wait, I can make the tailoring bench. You dummy. Oh, wait, I can't make it. Never mind. I'm a dummy dumb. I'm a double dummy dumb because I'm no brain. Was there anything else that I haven't made? So I can't make this because I need the cotton yarn, but how do I... Where would I make the cotton yarn? Is it like on a different bench that we have? Oh, why did I open that chest? Yeah, it wouldn't be there. It wouldn't be in... Definitely not in the smelter. Couldn't be in any of these things. The loom? Oh, I don't know how... Do I not have the... Thank you, by the way. I was thinking, I was like, isn't there like a loom or something? And I'm like, but I didn't see it. So maybe I'm just brain dumb. Is there... I can't scroll more? No? Surely it would be under refinement. Beatrice? Does she? Oh yeah? What did I do? Oh, I'm in the building. I was like, why can't I dodge? Never mind. Loom. Oh, she does! Ugh, what a chop. Thank you. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Right, so I guess we're doing her next. When Jargon is back, we can go do that. I think I'm gonna go have a run around, smack some things. I need a bit of blood as well, maybe. Hi guys! Any friendly friends on the road tonight? Let's go find ourselves a tasty snack. And hopefully not kill it. Where y'all at? This is some bullshit. They're all over the place when I'm like, got no health. Half dead. Escaping from someone. 47% brute. That's for jargon. That's a dummy. Oh, damn. 5% rogue. Yeah, I don't want to pull the other guy. That's nice, though. He'll like that. Okay. We'll commit that to memory. Come back here. Where else? Maybe we can go down there. Okay. This way. We'll make a Noom over the little mountain thing. Hello, fellow wolf. Don't mind me. And I go boop. There's always guys here. Oi, shit guys. Get good. Nice. Shit. 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 Yeah, bro, what do you want? Oh, yeah? That's what I thought. Alright, was there anyone else in here? 1%? Shit. That's just embarrassing. 2%. 9%. Yeah, he's only a bit of a brute. Just a smidge. Wow, these guys are so embarrassing. Let's try this out. Ooh. Yeah, listen. I think it's okay if we have to reach over just a little bit to cast that. We don't want to be casting that willy-nilly, because knowing me and my clumsy ass, I'm gonna cast it at the worst possible time. So maybe it's good that it's not on a button I can easily press. I have to be very mindful of pressing that. Damn, and that's such a long cooldown as well. Don't want to waste that shit. Ignoring the fact that I just wasted it now on that scrub lord, but it's okay. I had to see what it was like. So these guys sucked. I don't want to go back here. It's too spicy. I guess I can go have a look at the armory. Oh! That's... Yep. That's him. That's the... Fucking Tristan, are you joking me, sir? Can you not? Holy fucking shit. That's way too spicy. Yeah, fucking boss man about to come whip my ass. Ooh, 36 rogue. Seems a little bit spicy. Oh yeah, you guys run away. Ow. I walked straight into that. How embarrassing. Okay, these guys are both shit. Please don't reset. Give me peace. That's my boy there. Hi, friend. I don't want to kill you, so I'm just gonna boop you gently until you're edible. Thank you. Yeah, we've had some run-ins with Tristan, who I keep calling Vincent, which is another guy entirely. But we've had a couple run-ins with Tristan. Cause he's a bit of a spicy guy, and he's always all up in our business for whatever reason. Man's literally got nothing better to do than chase our asses. So that's cool, I guess. Oh, Jesus Christ! Can you not? I hate those plants. Cool. Actually, I can go back up that way and then go clear out that camp so long. Oh, Jesus! Gonna ignore the fact that I just got a fight from that. Back to back, this is fine. Oh, you also... Okay, okay, so it's normal then, yeah? I'm not actually a chicken, that's just normal behavior. People who don't get a fright, maybe there's something wrong with them. Maybe we should be asking questions why some people aren't getting a fright. Start thinking about the people you spend time with. Uh-oh. That was not what I wanted to do at all. I don't want to kill all of you. Spin to win. Oh ho ho. Yeah, I can watch Joggin run past it. It comes out of the ground, and I'll still get a fright when I see it, even if it doesn't jump up next to me. You go away, I want to kill your friend. No. Those guys in the back of that. Ew, Deadeye. Blech. Those guys suck. All the butts. Okay. They're sucking each other's butts because they're just constantly on top of each other. Cool. I'll just go do something else, I guess. are you running away? Where are you going? Noise. Oh, that poor dear. Whoa. Ooh, it's gonna be spicy soon. Let's noom home. We'll come back for you, buddy. Oh, I keep thinking the dummy is another guy. What the? Brain, please. Ooh! Oh, okay. I think we're good. I think it's safe. Cool, okay, I can put some shit away. Dun dun. Fucking binby, mate. Okay. This goes in here. Andrew, what are you doing, sir? Sort your shit out. What? I should probably look at making more potions as well. Did I get an unsullied heart? Damn! I'll take that. We have too much of this juice. Alright. Let's see. Might be worth it to do this. Fish bones and snowflowers. I also wanted to check. Can be planted within your territory. Do you just like drop it like it's hot? Or it's sunny now, I guess I'm not gonna plant now, but I still need to figure that one out. Don't have a lot of snowflowers. Oh, I was supposed to get more roses and then I completely spaced and just went on a killing spree instead. This is fine. We're going after this auntie next. Auntie Beatrice. Oh, there was a new ring that we got. What does this do? Oh? Oh, that's tempting though. The sun resistance is kind of nice. And the ability cooldown.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back. I found a tasty brute for you.
Ooh,
Do
exciting.
you want to go get him?
Let's do it.
Let's go, let's go. I know it's sunny now, but we got this. Also, we have a
We'll be
new ultimate ability. So if you open your thing
what?
and you go to the chaos tab
What did you
at
do?
the bottom. Bro, we got this a while ago. I even looked at it
Oh,
earlier and I was
really?
like, what is this? It's an ultimate ability.
Cool.
Yep. I'm so glad.
Seems good.
Anyway.
When did we get? Who did we get that from?
I can't tell you, but in any case, let's skedoodle. Oh, sorry, I closed the door. Bad
Can't believe
habit.
it.
You can't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Me too.
So the guy. Oh, Jesus Lord Christ on a bike. Fucking. In my panic, I literally just ran backwards. By the way, I don't know where you are. Did you keep going? It's the
Yeah, I
mark.
kept
It's
going.
the bandit camp by
Oh, okay, cool. I see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, the treants fighting the wolves here, so I'm just gonna
Perfect.
slinky dinks past them. They can do their own thing.
47.
I'm not. Yeah.
Get him.
I got a 36 boy. Uh-oh.
Ooh. Kill this guy.
I'm gonna not do anything. If that's okay with you.
Definitely.
Because I don't want to accidentally kill him. Please don't accidentally kill him. I might cry.
Yeah, do my best. Should be okay. Anytime now, bud. There we go. Delicious.
Tasty snacks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Cool. Well, I'm already tracking Beatrice, and as soon as they hit night, or well, I guess we can start running in that direction now.
Yeah, sure.
I
May as
can't
well.
really tell where she would be. I want to say it's probably by a farm and or village. I don't know if you want to teleport. No, we can run. We can run there. It's okay. Yeah? Yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Most beefs.
Gosh.
Gosh. Drink some beer.
Good idea.
I'm full of them. But I'm also full of really
Are you?
bad ideas. So you win some, you lose some.
I feel like one side of that surfaces more often.
How dare you?
Just a feeling.
How could you? The sheer audacity.
I'm following you, so
Oh yeah?
yeah. Spicy. across the
35%
bridge.
rogue. No, mine's 36.
Ooh,
Never mind, we're good. Those guys are a bit spicy though.
Yeah, 42.
If we can just get mostly past them and then book it, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. Should be
Now.
okay. Let's do it.
Oh fuck, the dog saw me.
Fucking dog.
Whoa, that was a flame arrow. I'm just booking it. I don't give a fuck. Bye. I'm running with the squirrels, man. We out here. Are you good?
We are squirrels. Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm just following the trail now. I don't know where it's going exactly, but it's going this way. Cool. Ooh, is that
Super
iron?
duper. Sure looks like it.
I want to just hit it quick. Oh, it is. We can mine it with the thing,
Nice.
with the upgraded one that I did.
Yeah.
I just wanted to grab it
Acropolis.
while we were here.
Definitely. And if we see any more, definitely. have to grab
Yeah. This the way? This the way? Ah. That away. That away. Okay. Rats everywhere, man.
For reals.
For realsies, not for play.
Exactly. Big jump.
Only the biggest jumps. Okay. Not in the mine, surely. What?
I wouldn't think so, but
It looks like it's in the
Maybe.
mine.
yeah, all right. We're gonna get all the iron.
It's entirely possible it's on the other side of the mine, because there's a cotton farm.
True.
I feel like she would be at the
Ooh,
cotton farm.
quartz.
Oh, guys on the road. There's a... I would say we just dodge them.
Okay. Ooh, no doggies.
So I think she's in the cotton farm, not the boys. If you... Ooh, who's that? Meredith? We have fought Meredith, right?
Yeah, I think we killed Meredith.
I think we weren't supposed
maybe.
to. She was, Big Spice. Big Spice woman. Just book it past them. I don't know. They didn't
Yep,
see me,
this
but
is fine.
I'm pretty
we're good.
sure she would be this way. Where did the blood go? Oh shit, what is that? Burke the traveling trader?
Oh, cool. More traders, maybe.
Okay,
He
she's...
doesn't have the symbol though. But... Oh yes, he does. Never
He
mind.
does, yeah. We're burning a little bit from the garlics.
Oh right, fucking garlic.
Okay, she's still dead ahead. But there was someone else on the road here. Jade, the vampire hunter.
Ooh, Jesus. That's a skull.
Hmm.
Hang out with the cows.
Hi, Hassan.
Hassan.
Uh-oh. This is not good. Do you think she'll be able to see me behind the tree?
Ooh, I don't know.
This girlie's not got eyes. Thank the
blind
fucking
as
Pope for
fuck.
that. Holy shit.
Perfect.
Okay, I can breathe again. How you doing, Hassan?
I'm on the other side of the wall, so I just need to wait a second.
I'm good, I'm good. Okay, now she's this way. Torchbearer. Those guys are spicy. Yo, you just finished studying? Bro, it's literally midnight.
Oh my god, Hassan.
When you gonna sleep, bro?
Why am I in combat?
Uh-oh. Don't say that.
With what? There's nothing around me, so I don't really know what I could be in combat with. It's gone now. Let's get that villager.
When you get past
No
these
sleep,
guys...
only study. Hassan, please.
Oh, shut up. Vampire! What a twat. Okay. Is she in here? She might be in here, actually. Oh, Jesus!
Hey,
I did not
friends.
see...
Oh, that's a tree.
Sorry, I don't know if you wanted to eat that guy. And our lovely
Nope,
friendo
good.
friends have now gone in front of us again.
Love
They
that
seem
for
too
us.
spicy to attack.
I think we could probably take them.
You wanna?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I forgot which weapon I had on. Cool. Did you see that? That was
Ooh,
me.
That was amazing, yeah.
That's like the ult ability. Ooh, 43. Do you want him?
No, it's okay. I have the brute.
I wasn't too sure. You outies, Cupcake. Take care of yourself, friend. Have a lovely, lovely evening. There's some
Good night, Cupcake.
pigs over here.
Pigs.
Pigs, oink oinks. 19% rogue. I don't know how we're gonna get to this lady.
Excuse me.
You're
Cheapers.
excused. Just don't do it again.
I'm gonna do it
Ow!
again.
Jesus!
Oh my god. Excuse you?
Oh, can't reach him there. Ow.
This is the worst. More path
Actually the
coming.
worst.
We're all gonna brute. Oh, she's like that. Perfect.
Yeah, let's not be perceived by them, but there's a hound right in front of
This is
us.
a horse.
God. Where is she? Uh-oh, spotted.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of faith in that. Oh no, the traveling merchant guy.
Uh-oh. Did you get out?
I'm like in the village, but I'm going.
Burke
be
is still
okay.
chasing me.
Like hiding over here.
Do we kill Burke? Jesus, he destroys walls.
I don't think we should kill him.
I don't think so either, but he's fucking on my ass.
He's a bit of a
Fix
dick.
your ass, bro. I think he maybe lost interest. Okay, he lost interest in
Drank all
me.
those rose brews already.
Okay, he's
48
pathing.
rogue. Oh, do you want to? Yeah, you probably want a 48 rogue, huh?
Llama. 48 rogue. Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah.
So just mind, Burke is on his way. He's on their way.
What's this guy?
It's 22% rogue. Yeah. I'll leave him.
Oh, they've found me. That's cool.
Oof. Careful. Oh wait, you're very fucking far away.
Yeah, I'm like on the other side of the town.
I see her. Beatrice.
Oh, really? Nice.
She panics when the bell rings.
Oh my god.
Okay. Keeping an eye on her. She just went in a building.
Oh, I got an unsullied heart for that. Oh, there's like a fucking bell ringer.
Just
Oh, and Burke's
I
over
see
here
him.
now.
Yeah.
Fucking bell ringer just keeps spawning guards on me. He's a dickhead.
Beatrice. You woman. She's like running in and out of buildings. Is that you attacking her?
Snuck over here. Oh yeah, what is... Oh, we're just supposed to be killing her, yeah?
I hope so.
Oh, here's more... That fucking bell ringer.
Yeah, I was trying to get him, but...
Wait, I can... Oh god, I teleported back. Come here, you dick. Dude. Thank you. There, he's dead now.
Beatrice is in front of me.
A few more
Did
friends,
she
but-
reset? Oh my god.
Burke at least went out of town, so that's something. More unsullied hearts, this is great. Apparently way more common than the higher level enemies.
Can you trap Beatrice? I'm getting chased by guys, I didn't even realize.
I'm somehow out of combat. I don't know how I managed that.
Ah, hot dog and bologna, chicken and macaroni, chilling with the homies, chicken wing, hot dog and bologna, chicken and macaroni, chilling with the homies. We're currently chilling with our homie here, Beatrice. She doesn't want to chill with us though, so apparently we're shooting her in the butt. Thank you so much, Fleep, for the raid. How's it going? How was your stream?
Oh, you are so far away from me. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
she's literally booking it.
She ran all that way?
She's the
Holy fuck.
yeah, she's fucking gonzo.
That's insane.
Got her. Do you
Nice.
also need to be here for it, or
I don't think I need to be. I think it's just the unlocks for the server.
you're playing the Fortnites? Shit. You're now
40s.
knackered? Definitely, friend. I can imagine. Beatrice is your sister's nickname for you? Wait, why? I'm just asking, Smurf. But yes, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, welcome, raiders. My name is Nat Ortato. I'm a variety streamer from South Africa. Ben B, you gave me a goddamn fright. Yeah, I'm currently playing with my mod Jargon. We're doing things. Did you
Doing all the things.
Did you pew pew? You said you were also playing Overwatch? Goddamn. They're all them pew pews. Yeah, we're having fun, I think.
Yeah, I think it's fun.
Yeah, okay. Good. we're basically just running around killing people. Which doesn't sound very wholesome, but you know. Alright, I don't know what you want to do. Do we go roundy bodies, run back home, or
I probably should. It's like almost
going daytime. There's someone on the road. Careful.
daytime. Yeah.
Man, it's spicy. This side of the world is very spicy to stay on the road. But it's okay. Hi, Malice! Wins in Overwatch, but 40 says, oh man. I'm very bad at the pew-pews, so yeah, I can totally get the losses. That's just how it be sometimes. But at least you had fun. You got some wins in Overwatch. You're gonna dine and dash? No worries, Fleeb. Go do your thing, homie. Oh, we are in a spicy place. Oh, we're in the right place. Oh, we need to run, right? Should we just go? Noom.
Sure.
If you see a V blood, just pray. That's all you can do sometimes.
Yeah, that's all we've got at this point. It's fine.
After a Beavis and Butthead episode, I used to watch the security guard comes around looking for Beavis, but he's shouting Beatrice. Oh, man, Ray's been calling me Beavis and Butthead. And I'm like, I can't be both of them, and he's like, no, you can. And I was just like, wow.
This is spicy.
It is a little bit spicy. I was just looking to. Oh Jesus, that's what you meant by it's spicy.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the garlic, bro. Just go over the bridge. Easy.
Not the brawler, yeah.
Oh, do not go over the bridge.
Gotta go somewhere.
We go this way. There's scholars. What are those? What are these? Stinky scholars. They're scared of us though.
It's so weird. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm super curious. I kind of want to eat one.
Yeah? I have lower thingy, I don't know.
28.
I feel kind of bad because they keep running away from us.
All right, we can leave them.
Yeah.
We'll probably find bad guys that are scholars at some point.
Hopefully. Where are we going? Over here. What the dog doing? Whoa! There's pony. Oh, you can hide?
Oh, really? Oh, that's so cool. Nice. There is a horse.
Oh, you destroy it when you jump out though, so...
Well, alright.
Hello, ponies! Oh, is she... Oh! Jargon.
Mm-hmm.
Look. Looky.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh!
No! Jargon! Go up to him! You have to press F.
Is that all it takes?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
Oh my goodness. So did Beatrice.
Oh, you look so cool when you have your sword out.
Right?
I'm gonna do that.
But careful, because the sun is actually... It's a little bit hard to... I wonder if you get to keep it.
See primary attack. Ooh. And then
The
space is gather.
controls are a little bit weird.
They are a little strange.
Oh my god. And it just stays sprinting. Uh-oh, wolves. I'm gonna run.
Oh!
Run. Like your booty hole is on fire. If you just keep the gallop on, you can just book it. You can literally just hoof it rather instead of booking it. We're hoofing it.
Nice.
You can dodge all of these little noobs. Oh my god. I
Weave
want
in
to
and
steal all of the horses now. We need an entire yard full of horses. I don't even know where
You
I'm
would
running.
want
I am
that.
just fucking running. Like my ass is on fire. I'm fucking gonzo, mate. You can't catch me. I got a fucking pony chopper over here. Goodbye. Are you guys winning? Ow! You bastards! Knock me off my horse.
Definitely winning, son.
I got a horse, son. I'm definitely winning.
How mad is... It's a pretty a guard.
Do you want him?
No.
Oh, careful.
But I'll murder him.
Pulled more. So the horses will just vibe out until you go get them again?
Looks that way. I think of worse things.
That stun is amazing, by the way.
Yeah, it's so good.
I never want to use my feet again. Anyway. Yeah, I think we're winning, Hassan. We got horsies. I'm very
Hell yeah.
happy now. Oh my god. Whoops.
Oh!
Did you get knocked off?
Yeah.
How do you dismount again? Q. Oh, Jesus! Your character, like, yoinks.
How did they not run? Jeez. Really annoying.
The horse. I think it's friendly now because you mounted it, so you can't hurt it. It's got the same color health bar as us.
Yeah. Oh, 29 round.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. I didn't want.
Thanks, Jargon, for carrying. What the? You weren't here earlier when I was doing boss ass moves in a boss fight.
I'll do 81 brew.
Ooh.
Oh god, but what a spicy group. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
We
My
need to
ass
get
just
out of
got-
here.
Oh, I might die. Shit.
Almost got
Get us out
sunned
of the
to
sun.
death.
Yeah.
I'll Oh, okay. Moon. They're not chasing either, so
Fire blossoms.
it's safe here. Oh, you need to hurry.
Oh, I left my horse.
Rip your horse,
I
I
thought
guess.
they were closer, so I like left it somewhere that it would be safe.
Ow. I just got yeeted.
Eat speed.
Hello? I keep forgetting about my little, like, shadow friend.
Oh, the one that shoots people?
Yeah, because I always think it's you. I'm like, oh, when did you get here? And then I'm alone and I'm just like, Oh, I accidentally
alone again.
pulled another group of friends. Cool, I'm so glad.
That's cool. That's okay. Oh, shit, I'm stuck.
Oh, what is that? 25% root? What do you have? You have something.
I got 47.
Okay. No, that's a hell of a sunburn. Slick dude bro guy. Hello, hello. Yeah, I oh, that was a deer.
Friends.
Whoops.
That's the brute that I want, but that's a spicy pack.
Yeah. Fuck, it's
A
a,
bit
good
too
brute
spicy,
though.
I think.
You think
yeah,
so?
It is. Probably.
My horse is
I
a
think
little bit
probably.
sore. Yeah? We gonna do it? We gonna give it a try?
Sure. Sure, why not? Let me do this quick.
You gotta start using your pots more and your blood less. Oh, I guess you're gonna get new blood now, so it's okay.
I ran out of pots.
Oh,
That's why I'm using my
again?
blood.
Oh my god. Unbelievable.
Where's the brute? Oh, he's like in the front. Motherfucker.
Jesus, okay, that fire is...
Alright, follow me, buddy.
Okay, one guy's down.
Feed him, feed him, feed him. Come on. There it goes. Jeez. It's like a... Gives me the option, but it's not quite close enough. Oh my god. He lit me on fire while I was feeding.
Oh, are you okay? Just mind the
I'm
guy
okay.
behind you. He's gonna hit you. Oh, wait.
I'm just dodging through trees. My HP's so low.
I got this.
Heal
I
me,
got
bitch.
this.
There we go.
Hey,
Oh,
yo.
come on, heal me. Eat shit.
That was good. Did my horse survive?
Nice.
She did. Got him.
Oh, did I just get a rose brew? I did. Hell yeah. I'm gonna drink it right now.
Just in
My
case you
ass
die
is
on the way
kicked.
home. You gotta be off, Smurfs. No worries. I know it's late as hell. Have a good
Do
evening.
be.
Take care of yourself.
Good night, Smurf.
I fucking... Oh my god, I wish we'd stolen horses sooner.
Yeah, the only ones we saw, I was like too worried to go up next to them. So
Yeah.
I didn't know how easy it was to take them.
But now
I kept
we
seeing
know.
things on the subreddit that was like, get horses as soon as possible. I'm like, well, what does it take to get horses? Nobody told me. Now we
I don't know. Oh. What's attacking you?
Plant.
Can horses can go inside. 10 out of
Fuck.
10. They're gonna shit in the house, but it's okay.
Yeah,
I love the dismount. It's like so violent. Like I literally got launched into the ceiling there. We're just gonna fill the house with horses if that's okay.
Yeah, that's what you want anyway, right? So, definitely.
Girly, what are you eating? Stop it. There we go. Cool. What did we... Oh, I got fucking iron. I'm gonna stick that in the
I have
thing.
an inventory full of shit.
Oh wait, I did go hit something for iron, so I remember now. Cool.
Actually, not much of this looks very useful.
Okay, so I
Some
have
solid
to...
hearts, at least.
Yeah, I have one. We got stuff from Beatrice. What did we get though? I honestly don't know. Vampire. Oh wait, we got the
yeah,
change into human thing.
Oh, did we? Okay. Wait, is that just on the... Nope.
I think you gotta put on the wheel for some reason. But it consumes blood fast, so be careful.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Beatrice is literally this little old granny that I just fucking murdered. Cool. So
oh,
glad
I
I did
actually...
that. Plank, copper. Wall 3.
actually didn't get it. So maybe I did need to be close.
Oh, shit.
That's a little unfortunate.
Sorry, friend.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not worried.
Oh wait, this is another one. In the horse room now. It was the tailor, now it's the stable. There is shit all over the floor now. Because this horse is licking the floor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right, yeah?
Disgusting.
Disgusting! Well and truly. There we go. Sweet!
Oh, we have a ton of paper.
What the fuck are those? Cotton? Oh, fuck, man.
What did we learn?
Cotton, bro.
Brew of ferocity.
You need to put leather and plant fibers to make cloth. Okay.
Sure, sure, sure.
Cool. Well, I guess we're going back to where we came from for cotton. This is fine. Yeah. Hey, yo. Oh, wait, hold on. We were doing, this bad boy. We have the blood essence, we have the stone bricks, we need the iron, but I have been collecting. Maybe that's what we can do next. Iron? More iron?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because we are 3 short, so it's not a lot.
That's a-okay. That is not much.
Also collect the blood roses when you can.
Okay.
Because
I see any,
I
I'll
am
grab
actually
them.
using them now.
Noise.
Keep your horse alive by supplying it with water.
Oh, really? We have to give it shit?
We can't name it.
Oh, is that like
though.
what the canteen's in for?
Yeah,
okay,
you can
there.
give them water.
Cool.
Well, we use this for the potions as well, so... Let's see what a stack gives them.
Damn.
Hi, buddy. So I think my horse is my horse. Okay, so that gives you... one thing gives you 41 hours. Like 1 stack of the canteen stuff. Oh,
That's good.
so I'm curious. What is your horse's stats? If you just press tab, it shows you the horse's stuff.
Oh, okay. Yours is faster. Mine has better acceleration. Mine's max speed 8.2, acceleration 6.1, rotation speed 13.0.
Damn. So you got the fancy boy. Put water on him if you haven't.
I don't have any.
So it's in the chest here. I'll grab it for him.
Okay.
Because apparently I can also open his inventory. But there we go.
Oh yeah, there's tons. Cool. Cool.
I wish you could put armor on them because I don't want this one to die. Alright, so what did I say we were going to do? Iron?
Yes.
Do we go to the iron mine? The haunted iron mine?
Yeah, that seems like the right move.
The best place to go.
When looking for iron, I think that's probably the guy.
I wonder if there's Ah, yes, horse. Maybe we can swing past the farm. See like more horses. The only thing is that I don't like going past that way. Like the right hand side is far less spicy. When we go the left side, there's the camps and all the shits on the side here.
Yeah.
It's the fucking worst.
It is a bit not fun.
Yeah.
Less fun anyway.
So I don't know, maybe we take the horses and go the right way and see how that that works.
That's fine. Where the fuck? No. Wait.
Yeah, we got horses, son. Pony chopper.
There we go.
Jagan PNG is so cute. It is. I had that's Jargon's joined the posse. So that represents him now. You only have camels? It's probably because you no, surely not her son, because one of the most, I don't want to say one of the most famous, but probably horse breeds in the world, the Arabian, surely you have those. Those horses are built to move in the desert. Surely you have them.
Oh, they can hop down too. Of course the sun is rising.
Alright.
Ooh, these guys are all mad at me.
Some camels are worth millions? Really? Shit, man. Gotta get me some camels then.
The wrong business.
Yeah.
Gotta get in the camel business.
They're useful but could be dangerous. Oh, definitely. Any animal that's weight like surpasses yours is dangerous. A baby elephant, I don't know if they could kill you. At least not on purpose. Look at you with your fancy purple cape even. How did you make...
So fancy.
Oh, I thought you made armor for it. I was like, what the fuck? Mine's got a...
No.
Mine's saddle pad matches your cape.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it depends on the color of the horse, maybe.
Yeah, I guess it must. Probably just the same for each of them. Cool.
Ooh, it's Blood Moon next. I don't know if you want to
Oh, really?
hunt someone instead.
Probably a good idea. Use the bonus.
I'm so glad we figured this out. It sparks joy. Alright. Oh, Vincent!
I should re-hunt Beatrice.
Do you want to do that?
I'm gonna need to at some point, but we don't have to do it now.
Do you really not have the human form?
Yeah, I don't have human form. She's still grayed out on my altar too.
Oh, fuck. Hi,
Yeah.
Board Badger. How you doing? What do you want to do? Do you want to go for Vincent so long, or?
Yeah, we can go for Vincent.
Yeah, we're doing good. I think we've made a lot of progress tonight.
Cracking a cold one.
That friend on your mic is a mega cute jargon. Board Badger says you're a mega cute.
No.
Oh.
It's your it's Walter.
Listen, it's midnight. I'm tired. I was just like, okay, you know where Beatrice is now. Yeah, but she's in a scary place. I'm a bit of a
we kind of got our
chicken.
asses kicked.
Yeah, that's why I was alone for the kill. Because Jargon was busy getting his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I was joking, but...
And then...
Oh, Jesus! That gave me a fright.
Oh, what? For like 3 hours. I'm just gonna go up there right now.
Yeah?
And kill her.
Are you gonna go kill her by yourself?
Sure. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, let's go. Fuck it. Where are you? Did you already leave, or...?
No, I haven't left yet.
Okay. Oh! The fuck? Ikimashou.
Wait, should we teleport? We should definitely teleport, right?
Aw, leave ponies. Okay, we can get new ponies while we come back. Yeah?
Definitely.
I'm gonna leave this bad boy in the house, though. Go in the poop room. Okay. I'm very curious about human form, but I don't have a lot of blood, so I don't want to risk it. Wait, where am I going?
Good
the
question.
Wrong way.
The gosh darn wrong way.
This is fine. This is a-okay. Also, Mr. I'm only ever going to use the bear form has not used the bear form since he said that. I feel lied to.
Yeah, you do a lot less damage and stuff, and I feel like
free.
The benefits don't outweigh the detriments.
Yes. Ow, 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 ow. Ooh. Boys.
Shit.
We go this way. Beatrice is just so annoying to fight.
Yeah, she seems terrible.
Because she just fucking runs. Like her life depends on it.
Strange.
I mean, it does, but you know.
It definitely
like,
do.
I just want to check camp here.
Smart. Shitty.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's all pretty bad, huh?
Oh, bye guys. Oh. Cannot be teleported. Damn it.
Oh no.
I had scrolls on me. They can
I have
suck
shit
my
on
ass.
me too, yeah.
Oh, jargon. Oh, it's because you just picked it up. Where are we going again?
Oh,
wait, choose by the cotton farm. So the top right. You gonna look? You watching a show? No worries, Hassan. Enjoy.
Enjoy your show, Hassan.
There. Okay.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah. No worries. Have a wonderful evening. Sweetest dreams. Slick dude, bro guy. It takes a lot of brain power to say that correctly. I could just say slick, I guess.
You could, but it's way less fun.
Yeah, right? I was like, why I gotta make it... Oh, Jesus, that gave me a fright. Oh, fucking... Because my game,
Everything
lagged
does.
out.
Yeah.
Shush. I heard pig.
It's okay.
I am pig.
Pig. I am pig. Oink.
Let's see. Awoo, bitches.
Garlic.
Tasty.
Would
Burns
be if
my
we weren't
eyes.
Vampires.
Don't want a backseat. Remember to swing by a cotton farm? Yeah. That's why I actually came past here. What? Just the garlic
Unfriendly
that
friends.
burns. Garlic exposure. Oh, shut up.
Oops.
Oh, this garlic exposure is gonna start making my eyes water in a moment.
Oh, we're getting hella stacks.
Yeah, we are. But I think, Oh. There's a lady here. I don't see anything in her house. I'll take that.
container, yeah.
We don't want to kill you guys. We just want your shit. I haven't started taking damage yet. There's sunflowers here as well. I'm gonna...
Yeah, it just increases the damage that you take and reduces the damage you put out.
Oh. I don't know what sunflowers are for, but...
I can't break any of these.
What do you mean?
I can't break. I don't have the special sword.
You don't need a special
This
sword.
asshole.
It's literally just a sword.
Yeah, I don't. It wouldn't. It said my attack level was too low.
Oh. What?
Do you have like a merciless copper sword?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I have the regular copper.
Oh. We're gonna
This
wait for
way.
those guys to pass.
God, this garlic exposure is brutal.
Where do we need to go? Is it... I can't remember where she was. Do you remember? Oh, it is Dawnbreak. It is this way. We need to go this way anyway. We're gonna wanna book it past these guys.
Scoot around.
Yeah.
Oh, God, go down.
Did I go the wrong way? Yeah. We need to go
Yeah.
up that road. Fuck.
And the patrol was there though. That's okay.
We can slinky things past, surely? Or did they turn
Yeah, it'll be-
around? Oh, Jesus, those
No,
guys.
that'd be fine. Maybe just go this way and then go north.
What? Walk straight into a rock.
Or walk into a rock, if that's what you really want to do.
How get rid of garlic?
Just over time.
Really? Oh god.
Yep.
I have 73 stacks.
Yeah, I have 70.
Okay, we need to...
It's
Oh,
quite
shit.
bad. Oh, yeah. These guys will murder us. I think increases the damage
Whoa.
we take by the number of stacks.
Jesus, that wolf gave me a fright.
Same.
Hello, fellow wolves.
Yeah, we all friends here.
Whoa, this is gonna... Wastala pastala our time, because... each stack increases damage taken by... Oh my god, I'm gonna take 70%. Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
And 35% less damage.
Oh, and that fucking brawler.
Oh, they're there now.
Yeah.
I chased her along here. So...
Just like along the edge here.
Yeah. So...
God, I really wish I had kept up with you. That
Oh,
sucks.
careful.
Oh, those are some friends. This garlic is butts.
Yeah. So she's like... Oh, I can't mark it there. She's like in the center.
Oh, and these guys are coming through too. Super cool.
I don't know their pathing, but... Oh, fuck!
Yeah, people on the dock. And then those guys. Ugh.
You,
The
not the fire.
The fire will, yeah,
that
that
would
shit
wipe
will
us out.
immediately kill us.
I swear this is like the worst one because of all the people around there. But also these garlic stacks are...
Yeah, this is completely boning us.
Yeah. Fuck.
These garlic stacks. That sucks a lot.
I don't think there's anything we can do about it. I think we should maybe just give up on Beatrice. We can't get in there. It was spicy the first time we tried.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is maybe not worth it. Even if we went to another boss, I don't know if it would be worth it.
I guess depending on the time. I don't want to waste the blood moon though. That's what sucks. Is
But
like
we
this
can't.
garlic is fucking our blood moon.
Yeah. Even if we went like after small camps. It's okay. We learned.
Yeah.
Just maybe learned the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was you. I was like, this floating thing was like coming towards me and I was like, I don't want to be a part of that, whatever it is. Oh, I'm getting regular stuff now, I guess, because my mace is better. What are you doing?
Just running. I don't know. Don't really have a purpose. Fruits
I'm gonna go to
warriors.
another cotton farm since my shit's
Yeah, may
already
as well.
fucked up.
Yep, may as well.
Where was it? This one. There's a big old boy over here. That's just plant fiber. It's the most... Like, why waste my time? Do you know what
Yeah,
we
how
should be
dare they.
doing? Fucking iron.
What's up? Oh yeah, you're right, probably. Well, the iron's where people are anyway, so
Yeah,
even that's not really safe.
but maybe more tolerable people.
Yeah, probably. These guys are pretty tough.
What's these? Cows? Oh, you can't do anything to the cows, I don't think.
These cows?
Just chase them out of here.
Yes.
Cause havoc for the farmers. Why not?
Mhm. Oh, torchbearers.
Hmm. It's over here. Damn it. Huh. The cows ran straight back into their field. Interesting.
Nice little
Oh,
cows.
garlic
So
exposure.
obedient.
Yes, this garlic is burning. There's more pony. Hi, ponies.
Pony, pony.
Ooh, there's one with a dark mane over here. I'm gonna grab this one. Hi. You're my friend now. Yamata. Take your friend. Oh. This one's not so great, I don't think. Oh, there's more pony here. Hello, ponies. I just want to see. Whoops. What's that guy?
Pony, pony.
Oops. I'm accidentally just stealing all their horses. Rotation speed 14, acceleration 5. Shh. Take it easy, homie. 8, 5, and 13. I don't remember now. Don't you dare kill ponies under my watch. I'm not killing them. I'm definitely not killing them.
Unintentionally, anyway.
What? Yeah, we'll take this one. I'm doing good, Wrong Goose. How are you? I just have horseshoe marks now. I'm gonna swing around to the iron mine. I don't know about you.
Cool.
Them's sheepies.
What is this?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's a spicy man's over here. Shh. Some girlie trying to expose me. How rude.
Ooh, this one's fast.
Fast as fuck, boy. This one's 8.2, but the acceleration is 5. So...
This one's 10.4.
Of speed.
Acceleration.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
Acceleration 5.5.
This one's got pretty nice rotation speed. Nervous about Saturday?
It's
Wedding
not
of your
working.
niece? You're going to sing? Oh, you better rest up. Rest your voice.
Hi, Ronnie, Ronnie, Ronnie. I'm just booking it.
No, we hoofing it now. We're not booking it. We hoofing it.
Ooh, bad guys.
Oh.
You guys are mean. No, thank you. I don't want any. I'm just looking for friends.
Accidentally running through an entire fucking camp over here. Don't mind me.
It's fine. Stop getting stuck on fucking everything.
Okay, so technically where I want to be, but I want to go here. Ooh, the sun is rising. Fuck. There's iron here. I'm just gonna. Oh, I'm running out of blood. Leave my pony over here. He'll be fine.
I'm just fucking running. What's this? Looks fancy. The Colosseum. Interesting.
Whoa. The ground was shaking. I need blood. Oh, why is there skilly bobs here? Whoops. Okay. Oh!
Oh, they saw me. Oh god, we run, you moron.
Thanks for the Loki's wrong goose. Take care of yourself. Best of luck for Saturday. I hope it goes well. Ooh, I'll take that. Iron, please. That's not iron. Oh.
Oh, what is this? Oh shit.
Someone's fighting
To run
over
through
there.
here. I didn't mean to go here.
Skeleton
friends.
mage. Oh my god. This is literally the worst. Because of the stacks. But also because I need blood. But there's just fucking skelly bobs everywhere.
Useless.
There's a peepo.
Useless skelly bobs.
Brute, a 37% rogue.
It's not bad.
If I can get him though. Oh, another chest. Oh, that one had iron in it. Lucky.
It's a good chest.
There's another rogue. There's brutes here as
Ooh.
well. I don't know if you need blood.
Oh my god. Sticks were made.
Same.
God, what am I thinking?
Oh, same. Out of blood.
There's
Don't I
a-
know it?
There's a V-blood like on the road too.
Oh my
that I
god.
just ran
I'm
through.
about to die. Yep, I died.
No, fuck.
No? I have one health.
I'm not far away.
I don't know if I'm gonna survive this. You can eat the tainted hearts in an emergency? I guess. I could.
Good.
Since I don't have
Good
blood
for Al.
anyway.
Yeah. Oh my god, these pats are ridiculous.
Oof. Did that help
Just
at
keep
all?
running into people.
A little bit. Yo. Not sure if this is spoiling a backseat. No, it's fine. If it is backseating, then I'll say. But that I didn't mind, because we've been avoiding eating those, because we didn't want to fuck with our blood. But yeah, I was out of blood there. So that's the first time I've actually needed to do that.
Why is there so many patrols here? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's bad.
I'm just trying to like get to a safe spot. Sorry, horse, you're on your own. I don't know what's gonna happen to you, but
Oh, yeah, you can just leave them. I think they're fine there.
am I okay now? I think I'm okay now. Nope, I'm not okay yet. This is ridiculous. There's just so many patrols. It's insane. Oh, there's no shade here.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I just pulled like the whole fucking camp on me. Cool, I'm so glad I did that. Uh-oh, I have bad news. I'm gonna die.
Oh, shit. Run.
Yeah, this is a bad time to be alive.
Oh, I might die too, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh.
In the shade. God, this is the worst.
This is the worst.
Oh, I just got... I'm definitely dead? I'm at 0 HP.
My headset is at 0 HP. I just need to plug this shit in. What happens if we respawn? Do we lose our loot?
I think you lose like some of the stuff. You should still keep your equipment and stuff, but
No, but I want the
you
stuff.
lose like some of the stuff that's on you. I mean, you can come back and get it.
Oh, okay. I might do that then.
I don't know how I didn't die. I was literally at 0 HP. Unless there's like a rounding error or something.
Maybe. My character's being so dramatic, just like kneeling on the ground there. Just she's healing though. She's sitting there healing. I don't know how. Oh, do you know what? There was those fucking garlic stacks. Okay.
Yeah, the garlic stacks are brutal.
Okay, well let's. Oh.
It's about to be nighttime. I'm not far from you.
Bro, I literally
can try
just
to come save you.
respawned.
Oh, did you? Okay.
But it's okay.
Well, all right then.
Curses. All my looty booties. Oh, fuck.
Not the looty booties.
The looty booties, my dude.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. The looty booties.
All the looty booties is gone. Gonzos. Let me go get my shit back. I'm mad now. All my shit back. Got my pony.
Mm-hmm.
Just left him to his fate. That's fine. He's good pony. I'll go get him back.
What's up here? Anything?
Sadness, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah. Imagine following the marker you just set. Couldn't be me.
Definitely not. Sounds overrated, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think
Where are we?
I think I might end soonish. Because I still have to wake up at 8 o'clock. It is now almost 1 a.m. So time's getting a little spicy. Oh wait, Jesus! What are these guys not to be trifled with? Whatever they are.
Torchbearer.
I know my pony's around here somewhere. There he is. Hi, buddy. Your pony's nearby as well.
Yeah, he's right there.
Okay, so... Skellybobs. Oh, I don't know if I can fight them. Oh, hi, Bimby.
Hello.
There's my corpse. There's my shit.
Let's go get it.
Yeah? Nice. Did you die dead or?
No,
I'm a container? The fuck?
You are a container now. You've died and become a container.
Oh, let's not go that way.
They fighting.
Whoops. I always forget about that thing. Fuck, man. Just accidentally aggro the whole thing. The whole shebang. We gonna skedoodle? Where's your pony?
Sure.
Pony? He's over here somewhere.
Stuck in the tree.
Ah. A palomino? That looks like a palomino. Thank you. It's mine now. Oh, Jesus. Let's not go that way. Let's go this way. Oh, shit. Look at that speedy horse.
Explosions.
That's definitely a palomino. Uh-oh, boys. Ooh. Sorry.
Oh, stuck on a tree.
You got the acceleration to keep up anyway.
Yeah. Be okay. I can almost take the teleport. I have like basically nothing on me. Some more friends. Just lots of friends.
I have quite a lot of iron on me.
This way, right? Yeah, there's peeps. Lots of peeps.
Whoa!
2 groups, in fact.
It's a spicy peepos.
It's a 29 rogue.
Ooh. Be right back. How spicy are them peepos?
I don't think they're too bad.
Oh yeah, oh yeah? Where's the boy?
He's like in the backish.
Man, the bomber. Ow!
Let's just kill him. 8%.
Whoops.
Kill you.
Oh! Got him.
Feed on that one. Nice.
Nice. Anything you want?
Nope.
Have you got blood?
Yeah, I'm a little over half. Unsullied heart. Take
Nice.
that.
Oh. Nah, they poo poo caca.
Oh,
Where are
we
we going?
shouldn't have gone this way.
Uh-oh. It's fine, we can just cut across, right?
Yep. Okay,
Bye,
fair.
guys. Mind if they're shooting. Uh-oh.
Another group here, but that's okay.
Oh! I just have to dodge the
Another group
arrows
here? Oh my
intended for
God.
you, because they can still dismount me even if they aim for you.
motherfucker.
Are you
Oh,
good?
it dazes you and you can't get back on your horse.
Yeah. Oh, another pack.
Ah, I don't know if I'm gonna
They
be able to get
spotted
back
me.
on my horse.
Oof.
I
Don't
think
come
there's
to
just too
me.
many guys. Yeah, there's just too many guys. I don't think I can.
Oh my god, and I got a bear chasing me.
As soon as I remount, somebody gets an attack off.
It's fine, I'll come here.
Let's kill him. It's fine.
There was a pack chasing me, they're still chasing me. So just mind behind you. Yep,
Another pack coming this way too.
yep. Oh, from behind.
Patrols are just ridiculous.
Oof.
Yeah, they're like coming across my horse right now. Can I hide and
Oh,
just go by
no,
my
they
horse?
just saw you.
Nope.
That's fine, it's fine. We can do this.
Another 29. Wait, no, that's you. Just kidding.
Oh.
God, what's above you? Fucking dead eyes.
Okay,
Alchemy lab flooring?
ooh.
I don't know if we
Yes,
have that one.
please. Oh no, wait, we already have. Just mind, I think there's
That's
more
cool.
coming.
Papers then.
Coming,
yeah, there's
incoming.
more here.
Fucking rogues as well. Oh. Did they see me or you? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I saw you
Okay, that's fine.
in the fire. And another bat. Oh my god.
Did you get dismounted again?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
There's patrols everywhere. This is insane.
Yeah. Oh. I'm gonna move your horse. Oh, fuck. I was trying to get it out of the fire.
Yeah, I don't know if
'Cause it
there's
was
any...
losing health.
I say fuck the horse. Like, I don't care. It's fine. I have a horse back at the thing. It's too much trouble to try to remount. I could have left by now. Like, fuck it. It's not worth it.
It's fine, I got it. It's a good horse, though.
It's alright. We'll find more.
If you don't want it, I'll take it. This thing fucking nooms, man.
I mean, it does noom. You're not wrong.
Yeah, it's got 2 whole speed above mine. Which way is home? We just need to go on this road.
More west, yeah. Go,
Look at that
horsey,
shit.
go. It's so fast. Can I drink salve while on my horse? I can.
Oh, that's amazing.
Man, that's OP as fuck. Later, nerds.
Ah,
Not you. You're not the nerd. I mean, you are, but
I am. I was about to say, like, what the fuck,
it wasn't.
dude?
It wasn't. This context wasn't about you.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Do I have any water on me? I do. Here you go, horsey. Please enjoy.
I don't think I have any for him. I love that you can take the horses inside the houses, though, because, like...
That's amazing. Yeah. We're gonna have so many horses. in this
Bro.
ship.
The whole house. This is a stable now. I'll build them a stable, though.
10.4 is quite fast.
Yeah, you see, I'm telling you, when they've got that
Yeah,
light
it's
that
fast as
lit up, that's I think one of the best horses we have, actually. That's why I called it a Palomino, because it's mine now.
So clever.
I am, thank you.
Oh, we have 5 greater blood essences sitting in here.
Yeah.
About to have 6.
It's, we need it for the thing, but we need more iron, which is what I got.
Urn brew.
We still all garlicked up, goddamn.
Yeah, shit takes forever.
My garlic's rough. Okay, we should have enough now to make the throne, so now we can make the guys do things. I don't know what we're gonna make them do, but we can make them do things now. Oh, and we have a regular topaz as well. Fancy as fuck.
Wow.
Wow.
The best gems.
This can go in here. Oh yeah, we have cotton as well. Pony, pony. You got water. You got water. You got water. We'll give you a bit more. Oh. Don't be drinking all my water now. And you?
But why not?
This is new pony. New pony, new water. Let's go. Yeah, maybe we need to relax on the the horse collection until we get more. I wonder if you can like make these or something. I'm not too sure about that. An empty glass bottle useful as a liquid container. I wonder if these are reusable versus the water-filled canteen. I don't know, man.
Maybe.
It's all
I
good.
also do not know.
Wish you could name the horses. They're all just standing there, horse.
I wish we could, like, so we would know which ones are which, like...
Oh wait, this is why we
easier
went.
to tell.
Oh, this is why I wanted the con. The con for the things. Got him. And sunflowers. I'll use it eventually, I guess. Technically belongs with the flowers, but it's okay.
Learn some more
Whee!
things.
Oh yeah?
Straight gravel path corner, so just
Brew of
gravel
ferocity.
stuff? Cool.
Oh. Nice. Wait, you didn't use the paper, did you?
Yeah, why? Shit.
We needed it for the study.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm a big dumbass.
It's okay. We can go get paper somewhere else.
Yeah.
This is a study as well. Just mind the books. Because some of these need to be learned at a study, so we can't use them yet. Okay, and then... Where's the... I always forget about the fucking press, man. I'm, like, running back and forth. Like, got hearts in my inventory. Stinky hearts.
Stinky hearts.
Stanky. The stankiest of hearts. Because mostly it's the sullied ones. The stanky hearts. My ring is holding on by a thread. Alrighty. I'm just gonna park S for a second. my game is moving like a couple frames. So it's like a PowerPoint presentation.
Yes.
Yes. Whoa, where's all the streamers, dude?
Where are they all at?
Where are my
It's you.
friends?
You're all the streamers.
It's me. Shit, bitch. I see Rich is playing God of War though.
God of War.
Do we go say hi to Rich?
Dad of boy.
Dad of boy? Is that the actual name of the game? Have I been
Yes,
calling it the wrong
definitely.
thing the whole time?
Yeah. I'm just here so you don't embarrass yourself.
Oh shit, thanks man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I think let us depart
Yes, I'll exit now.
for Reach. Yes, Dan? Can I help you, sir? Are you good? Are you good, homie? Home slizzle, home slice. Just buffering. I never know when people do that. Like, did I say something weird or... Brain is gone? Listen, my brain was gone an hour ago. Someone was saying that this little plushie is cute, and I was like, I misunderstood it as they were saying Jargon is cute, and I was just like, if that's what you want to call him, sure, not my business. What you call other people. You are cute? Sure. Your brain is also gone? When are you streaming again, Dan? Not to harass you to stream or anything, but when are you streaming again? Musical Rich. Yeah, that's right. Not to be a pain. Not to be annoying, you know? Did Jargon leave the game? He did! There he is. He's sleeping on the floor. Fantastic. Yeah, I think my brain was gone a while ago. Your computer's been an a-hole? Fuck. Oh, you fixed it? Oh, well, at least, you know. At least you can do that. Me, I'm not very smart. Fixing is, not in my list of things I can do very well. This weekend? Are you gonna be playing Donk Souls again? What is my hair doing? Why is it so fluffy? What? The disobedience. Anyway. Donk Souls? I can't wait. I'm ready for Donk Souls. Alright, let us do the thing. You have to finish it? I agree. I agree. We're gonna head on over to... I almost said to Dan. That's not Dan. It's in the name. It's Rich. We're going to Rich, guys. Rich is playing God of War. Dad of... What did you say? Dad of son. Your Discord abandoned me? Oh, gee. Well, fuck. Didn't want to be here anyway. Damn. Goodbye. Nah, I abandoned you too. Alright. Guys. Pernato raid? Yes. It is the Pernato raid. Anyway. If y'all are here, if y'all are coming through. Can't believe you abandoned it. You started it. You started it. This is just karma. Anyway, yes. Let us skedoodle skedoodle. We're going to Dan. Playing Dad of Son. I will see you guys tomorrow. I don't know when, what time, what we're doing, but we're doing something. Bye, guys. Going to who? Going to Rich? He's playing Dad of Son? Oh, wait. You mean... yeah, we're going to Dan. I'm done. I'm done. I'm well done. I'm overcooked at this point. Bye, guys. Fuck. I'm done.